first quarter, and the recipient was wearing 0. What did you think about that play?
It's a great basketball play. He was open, so I threw him the lob, and he can jump really high. So, yeah, good play.
Seemed like it was very emotional on the bench there. Boogie was leading some cheers after.
Yeah, those guys are funny, man, but it's nothing more than a great pass, great finish.
This is obviously not a defense-oriented game, but do you expect it to tighten up a little bit in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, in the fourth, we'll tighten it up a little bit. 95 points, 97, 92, that's a lot. You know both coaches are going crazy, but fourth quarter should be a game.
And it's Kevin Durant, PJ Carlissimo joining me in the AutoZone halftime report. Your impressions of half number one.
Kev, I coached for 40 years, and I've probably broadcast a couple of hundred games. I don't remember looking at a halftime box score that had 8 guys in double figures, both teams shooting 58% and a 97-92 score. Looks a little different.
Leading scorer is Anthony Davis with 22. Can the hometown kid get the NBA's All-Star Game MVP? Could LeBron James do it? LeBron's got 20. The East trails by 5. That'll do it for us on the AutoZone halftime report. Your second half is next. This is the 66th NBA All-Star Game presented by Kia on ESPN Radio.
If you don't sit in your lucky seat, your team could lose. So don't leave your lucky seat. But do pick up your phone or computer and order B-Dubs to go. Or if you've got a big group, call in for the party menu. That way you can order wings, pick them up, and get back to your lucky seat. And if you do lose while sitting in your lucky seat, you can still feel lucky eating your
6th NBA All-Star Game on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
For PJ Carlissimo, I'm Kevin Winter. That's going to do it for us with the AutoZone halftime report. West leading the East by 5. Steve Kerr, the head coach of the West, with our Shelley Smith.
All right, Steve, how did you broker the peace between Katie and Westbrook?
I didn't.
You didn't say a thing?
No, I didn't say anything. We showed a video that we put together beforehand, tried to have a little humor in it. But the game always breaks the ice. You know, the lob pass in the first half, everybody laughed. Everybody on the team was kind of enjoying that. They mobbed them when they came over. So the game always does the trick.
What was in the video?
Just like some nostalgic photos and a little bit of humor, and I don't know. It was nothing genius, but just something to break the ice a little bit.
Well, it worked. Thank you. All right, Steiny?
Thanks, Shelley. Brad, the West is on a 194-point pace. How comfortable are you with that as the coach out here?
Do you think our defense needs to pick up a little? No, I mean, I think obviously not a lot of transition defense, not a lot of lane, prioritizing the lane in this game, but it's amazing what some of these guys can do.
It's obviously all in fun, and when you saw Isaiah Thomas try to line up that bounce to himself for the dunk, what was going through your mind?
Well, he tried 2 dunks, right? I liked it better when he just backed it out behind the three-point line and shot it.
Good luck in the second half slowing these guys down. Casti.
All right, Mark, thanks a lot. Brad Stevens, the 7th Celtics coach to be an All-Star Game coach first since Doc Rivers since 2011. 42 dunks in the first half, JB. There were 57, so they're going to crush that, at least on pace. 189 points, breaks last year's pace by 2 points at halftime.
Amazing. 52 fast break points for the East, 58 fast break points for the West. And I'm confused on what I'm going to do MVP right now. LeBron with the 20, Antetokounmpo with his 7 for 7, 16 points. Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook on the West. We'll see how it shakes out here in the second half, but let's hope we get a little bit of defense in that fourth quarter if it's a close game.
John Barry's Instant Analysis brought to you by Samsung. Samsung's washers and dryers are packed with features for brilliant performance, and they're brilliantly priced. Check out just how brilliant. In-store now. Samsung, bring it home. And in case you're wondering, Shelley Smith just telling us in her conversation with Steve Kerr after they talked, the 4 Warriors together, that's coming here in the second half. And KD and Russ, take 2, will be coming in the second half. They only played together for 82 seconds in the first half.
Well, we'll see if he puts Russell on with the 4 Warriors.
That'll be interesting.
Maybe he will. The ice was broken.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the 66th NBA All-Star Game presented by Kia on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Mark Kestisher, John Barry, courtside here at Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. Mark Stein and Shelley Smith covering the benches. PJ Carlissimo, Kevin Winter up in our studio position. Our entire ESPN radio crew. Glad you joined us here for the capper of the 66th NBA All-Star Weekend. And you're right, JB. Russell Westbrook, 19 points, also 5 assists and 4 rebounds. So the guy who's got 27 triple-doubles in the first half of the season, maybe just a bit on pace there for an all-star triple-double.
He played 10 minutes, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. In 10 minutes of action. Here's Kyrie Irving in the East. They're attacking the basket to our left as we open the second half to Jimmy Butler. To Giannis Antetokounmpo, who went 7 for 7 in the first half and make it 8 for 8 as he drives the lane and puts it in.
Plastic man, and he's got the ability to reach. I mean, he was 8 feet away from the rim right there when he took off and laid it in easily.
Curry lobs it for Marc Gasol outside the post left. No look to Curry under the basket. Sends it to Harden, who dishes to Durant in the lane against the Greek Freak, who commits the foul on the shot attempt, and Kevin Durant will go to the free throw line. We didn't see a lot of free throws in the first half.
2 for 2 for each team in the first half at the free throw line.
Foul is actually on LeBron James. That'll be his second personal foul, and it'll put Kevin Durant at the free throw line. Durant, of course, first time representing the Warriors at the All-Star game as he misses the first free throw. This is his 8th All-Star game, and the leading scorer at 25-6 coming in an All-Star game average. Here's Durant with another, and he splits the pair as the West goes in front by 4, 98-94. East led by 5 after 1. West led by 5 at half. Opening minute of the third quarter. Kyrie Irving at the top, goes left side Butler, drives, pulls up from 20, and nets it for the Chicago Bulls All-Star. And Jimmy Butler's name been thrown out there in potential trade scenarios from Chicago as Steph Curry keeps the possession alive to Marc Gasol, over to Anthony Davis. He'll rise from 3, missed it short. Tipped and controlled by DeRozan of the East. Lobbing for the Greek Freak. Couldn't handle as Anthony Davis was in the middle of it. And the West coming the other way. Here's Gasol. Over to Harden on the left wing. Jump past Gasol. Quick tip to Davis, who flushes.
24 now for AD, the hometown All-Star.
How about the Greek Freak lining up a 3, and his first miss is from distance. Rebound Durant. Lobs for Davis on the spinning reverse jam. 26 for AD. Told you, Anthony Davis, he's a machine in All-Star games. Shot 90% from the field last year. Here's Kyrie Irving into the lane. Jump pass out to LeBron. Wide open 3, and he buries it as Kevin Durant was about 10 feet off.
Yeah, LeBron now with 23 in the game.
James 23, his third triple. Here's Curry. How about behind the back to get by Antetokounmpo, and he lays it up and in.
That is a perfect split of a pick and roll right there. Look out.
Here's Kyrie Irving, lob for the Freak, whose eyes were rim level as he jammed it home.
And it hit Steph Curry on the top of the head. It went through the rim so hard, it landed on the top of Steph.
9 of 10 from the field for Antetokounmpo. Like a piece of the net might have flown off on that jam. Here's the Greek Freak, who winds up and jams it home. As Steph Curry, the only man back, he just went down on his stomach and said, I'm getting out of the way. Here's Durant missing from 3. And a foul to slow up the East. Boy, Steph Curry having a little fun that time. He said, I'm getting out of the way of that freight train.
Yeah, the Greek Freak was coming right at him. He just decided to go down on the ground, covered his head, didn't want to look as the Freak threw in another slam as he's 10 for 11 now for his 22 points.
22 points as the East is within 1. 104-103 West, 9:25 to go. James now from half court, a pull-up jumper misses. He wanted to take one from a few feet back. He's got a smile as he comes back on D. Takes on Durant, who feeds Davis for the easy jam, 28.
And here come the two Warriors, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green at the scores table, so we'll get to see that.
Lob for the rim, and Antetokounmpo that time misses. Can't believe it. Looking at the rim, who stopped me? Here's Harden straight on 3. Off the top of the iron and gets the friendly roll. 3 for James Harden the hard way.
That was his first field goal of the game.
Jimmy Butler finding DeRozan at the top. 8:49 to go in the third. Back to Butler, baseline right. Shovels out to DeRozan, who backs up. Got a half-court set here. Well, 4-on-4 as DeRozan misses a 20-footer. Rebound West, Steph Curry. Curry splits a double team, puts it off the basket, went for the dunk, but it's Marc Gasol to clean it up as Curry tried to assist himself off the glass.
We saw that earlier from LeBron. Not so easy for Steph as Kyrie lays one in.
111-105, the West leading, 8:15 to go here in the first. As Harden gets it into the front court, the Houston Rocket All-Star to the left wing. He'll pull up from three, missing that one. Kyrie Irving the rebound. Harden is 1 for 4. Here's DeRozan behind the back, sends it out to Irving, and he nets a triple in the East, right back in it, trailing by 3. 111-108. West, 7:50 to go as Harden, little hop step across the timeline, finds Gasol, lobbing it for Davis. Nice job by Adetokounmpo to knock it away. The West keeps it, though. In the corner, Kevin Durant, right corner triple, no good. Long rebound. It's Steph Curry to get it for the West. Goes behind the 3, fading shot not there. Another offensive board. This is Davis, who wheels, fires the baseline J. No, but the offensive stick back is in for Kevin Durant. A little too active that time, the West for the East, with 2 or 3 offensive rebounds. And now Kyrie Irving is fouled by James Harden near half court with 7:18 to go. And let's see the configuration for the West here.
Yep,
as we will get the 4 Warriors.
With the hometown guy.
But I think that was many prediction. Many thought they'd like to see Russell Westbrook, but many figured Anthony Davis.
But think of how ridiculous that is. The Warriors trot this out on a nightly basis. They get 82 of these with 4 All-Stars on the team.
Paul George missing. Adetokounmpo grabs the offensive board and stuff and rocks the rim.
This guy's amazing. I mean, the athletic ability of this guy is off the charts.
Just 22 years of age. Draymond Green got stripped by Paul Millsap. And the East coming away with it. Down court for Paul George. 3-on-1 off the glass. And DeRozan there to gather and slam. The West lead is down to 1. You're right. But Warriors 47 wins in 56 games. 4/5 of their starting lineup on the floor right now with Anthony Davis. And here's Curry being checked by Kyrie Irving, a la the finals last year. Finds a cutting Durant for the slam. Curry to KD, and the West goes back in front by 3.
And he's still hanging on the rim. What is he doing?
I don't know. He didn't want to give up. And there he is, finally jumping off the rim as the East has a 5-on-4. Here's Irving, drives, kicks to DeRozan, who flushes.
I don't think Kevin Durant has crossed half court going to the defensive end in about 2.5 minutes. He's still camped out on the other side.
Draymond lob for Anthony Davis, who flushes. And now a steal by Davis. Davis the other way, jams it again. 32 for Anthony Davis.
Definitely making his case for All-Star MVP.
Down court, Paul George, 5:51 to go, and a whistle to slow things up here with 5:51 to go in the third quarter as we head to break. Anthony Davis, 32 points, 7 rebounds. The West by 5, 119-114. You're listening to the 66th NBA All-Star Game presented by Kia on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Our friend Edward, they're going to release him. Yeah. They're not going to trade him. Well,
I said that Romo expects that the Cowboys will ultimately release, not trade him, so that he can then go solicit his own deal without some team having to compensate the Cowboys in a trade or accept his contract, which is rather enormous. And obviously, if the Cowboys want cap relief, then release is better than trading.
Mike and Mike on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show.
So if you're the Cleveland Cavaliers and you indeed had an opportunity to swap Kevin Love for Carmelo Anthony, how you feeling right now? And if you're LeBron James and you know they had the opportunity to do that, but passed on it, and Kevin Love finds himself in this situation with his questionable health, how you feeling right now? These are the kind of things you got to think about. Not a good day for the Cleveland Cavaliers, not by any stretch of the imagination.
The Stephen A. Smith Show, weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM Channel 80 and the ESPN app.
I told him, OJ, you're breaking the laws of God.
It's the most decorated documentary of the year, winning over 45 awards, including the Directors Guild of America, the Producers Guild of America, and 4 Critics' Choice Documentary Awards for Best Documentary Feature. Critics have declared it a triumph, a landmark achievement, the #1 documentary of the year, and now it's an Academy Award nominee. OJ, Made in America. Available in its entirety on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN.
You're listening to the 66th NBA All-Star Game on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Inside the Smoothie King Center, Kevin Winter, PJ Carlissimo with you. Time now to answer tonight's trivia question. We told you Paul George had scored 76 points in his first 3 All-Star Game appearances. Only 2 players had produced more in their first 3 games. We asked you who they were. Any guesses?
Oh, are you kidding me? KD and the Dipper Dunk.
There you go. Kevin Durant, Wilt Chamberlain. Durant with 85, Chamberlain with 77. Coming into tonight, PJ, I had asked you who you really wanted to keep an eye on. You said Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Milwaukee Bucks. Now I know why.
Well, people just haven't seen him. I remember doing a Celtic game a couple years ago with Mike Gorman, and about 4 minutes into the game, he turned to me and said, "Are you kidding me?" And John, very insightful. No one realizes how big this kid is. He's huge, and his arms are even longer. But he does everything. He passes, he steals, he blocks shots. He's a very creative player. He's so entertaining. I mean, he's just scratching the surface. By the way, he just turned 22.
That is remarkable. 24 points tonight, JB and Kesty. He's 11 of 13 from the floor, and he's playing defense this evening. I did not know that was allowed.
Well, Kev, it's amazing. He's top 10 in blocks and steals. Only 4 players have done that at average 20 points a game in a season, all Hall of Famers. Hakeem, the Admiral, Dr. J, and Elvin Hayes. He's off to a great start. Our game being brought to you by Applebee's. Get your choice of all-in burgers, fries, and a bottomless Pepsi for $9.99. You could win great prizes like producer for the day on the Mike and Mike Show. And PJ's right, JB. I mean, just scratching the surface.
Oh, he's incredible. I mean, standing right in front of us right now is just huge.
From Athens, Greece, straight to the NBA. Number 15 pick 3 years ago. Antetokounmpo gives it to Paul George, lobs it for the freak. Behind the back pass to John Wall, outside to Millsap, launching a triple, pops in and out. Kevin Durant the rebound.
So we got this Warriors 4 guys on the court with DeAndre Jordan. How about if the East trotted out Kyrie Irving, Kyle Lowry, Isaiah Thomas, John Wall, and Kemba Walker?
And DeAndre Jordan says, how about a half-court alley-oop feed from Steph Curry as he jams it home?
He likes being on that side of things based on what the Warriors have done to the Clippers this season.
There's Paul George, elbow jumper. No, Antetokounmpo just flew over Curry and jammed it home.
Oh, Steph's laughing. He got him again. He wants to see the replay. He's looking at the replay.
Last time he dove to the floor to get out of the poster. This time he's right in the frame. Here's Kevin Durant, who scores and thought he got fouled. No call. 123, 116
Have you ever
left.
seen a player do that?
How about wall through traffic, dribbling and scoring?
Steph Curry stopped in the backcourt and looked up at the big screen to see the replay of him getting dunked on.
Here's Durant, contested 3, missed. Antetokounmpo pulled out his jersey and got into a defensive stand. He wants KD. Here's Wall, left side. George behind the triple line, launching, missed it badly to the right, and Draymond Green with the rebound. 4 Warriors and DeAndre Jordan right now. Here's Klay Thompson, corner triple. It's good. And Klay Thompson's 3, putting the West out in front, 126-118.
How did he not win the three-point contest?
Antetokounmpo driving the rim and jamming it home with a vicious right hand.
He's only 13 for 15 from the field.
28 points for the Greek Freak, the Milwaukee Bucks All-Star. Right now defending Kevin Durant. Little shake and bake. Pulls up for 3, misses. Tipped, and Millsap controls the rebound. Here comes the East with Millsap up to the three-point line, to the free throw line, bouncing it to Isaiah Thomas. Left corner triple, missed. DeAndre Jordan rebounds. Jordan outlets to Curry at half court. Curry left-hand dribble into the lane, slings it out to Klay Thompson. Fellow Splash Brother for 3, missing, but Durant follows up with a jam. Meanwhile, the Clippers and Warriors going to open the second half head-to-head Thursday against DeAndre Jordan. We'll have that game for you here on ESPN Radio as Paul George goes out to the left wing, up top to Millsap. Millsap getting by Jordan and lays it in with 3:20 to go in the third. The East within 6. Neither team is led by more than 8 points here in the 66th All-Star game. Green, great backdoor feed to Curry, flushes.
How about that?
Showing some hops.
Off 2 feet, Steph threw it down rather easily.
130 to 122. West out in front. And now a foul as Steve Kerr was making the chopping motion on his arm to get Curry out of the game. And Gordon Hayward will come in. Draymond Green will also come out of the game as Russell Westbrook comes in, and he says, I got to defend my two-time reigning MVP. There's a couple of guys in front of me right now. Adetokunbo in the East and Anthony Davis in the West. We got a timeout here in New Orleans. 2:59 to go third quarter. West 130, East 122. This is the 66th NBA All-Star Game presented by Kia on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Most Tuesdays are just Tuesdays, except at Buffalo Wild Wings, where Tuesdays are Wing Tuesdays. But now even Wing Tuesdays aren't just Wing Tuesdays, because Wing Tuesdays are half-price Wing Tuesdays, which means your boring Tuesday that became Wing Tuesday now costs you half as much. In case you're confused, we have half-price Wing Tuesdays. We do it for you. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Prices and participation vary. See participating locations for details. Void where prohibited.
Progressive presents Mindfulness with Flow.
You feel yourself getting lighter with each Progressive discount. Paperless, safe driver, multi-car. Yes, lighter, like a new line of sneakers. Or a slugger on a crash diet the week before spring training. Stay away from the cheesecake.
Ascend to a higher plane of insurance with Progressive. Visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Check out my latest find, a Babe Ruth autographed baseball I bought from University Archives. Okay, I'm on universityarchives.com. Abraham Lincoln, Muhammad Ali, Marilyn Monroe, Einstein, a book signed by the first 40 Super Bowl MVPs. These are unbelievable.
Own a museum-quality piece of America's history, from signed rare books and letters to other personal possessions of the most iconic figures of past and present. Go to universityarchives.com, where you can bid on truly remarkable collectibles.
Monday morning with Greeny and Golick. Peter Rosenberg fresh from the NBA Celebrity Game. Plus Booger McFarland and Jay Williams. It's Mike and Mike. Starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. This is the 66th NBA All-Star Game on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Inside of Abilene Studios, Kevin Winter with you, PJ Carlissimo alongside. The Western Conference has opened up a 130 to 122 lead over the East. 2:59 to go in the third quarter. Coming up on Thursday is the NBA trade deadline. Want to bring in our ESPN NBA insider, Mark Stein, on the benches. Mark, we had reports today that teams are trying to engage the Sacramento Kings in a potential trade for DeMarcus Cousins. We hear that often, but one of those teams is the New Orleans Hornets, this host team. What can you tell us? New Orleans Pelicans, excuse me.
It's interesting, Kevin, because Vlade Divac, the Kings GM, it was about 10 days ago, less than 2 weeks, he told me on the record, we are not trading DeMarcus Cousins, a public proclamation that the Kings would not move him. But New Orleans, obviously, they're trying to make a playoff push. They've only been in the playoffs once in Anthony Davis's career, so they are trying to get the Kings interested in this. Now, the message I'm getting tonight from within Sacramento is nothing has changed. We know teams are going to call us until the deadline. We're still not trading DeMarcus Cousins, but clearly the Pelicans and other teams around the league aren't buying it, and I suspect you're going to hear similar things with Jimmy Butler in Chicago, Paul George in Indiana. Teams don't want to hear this not available stuff. They're going to keep testing the resolve of the Kings, the Bulls, the Pacers, etc. Kesty?
All right, Mark, thanks a lot. And, of course, Mark will have the trade deadline covered coming up on Thursday. Sacramento, by the way, just a game and a half out of the 8th seed in the West.
But Cousins, to pair him along with Anthony Davis, I don't know how much sense that really makes.
Meanwhile, as we get back to play, a lob and a dunk for Paul George as the West lead is 130 to 124, 2:48 to go here in the third quarter. A good matchup once again. Russell Westbrook being guarded all the way to half court by Isaiah Thomas. They locked up horns in the first half as Westbrook sent it to Green, gets it back. Step back, 35-footer, misses everything to the right. And the rebound down court pass to Thomas. Thomas crossing over down low and lays it in past Westbrook, who has a big smile for him.
Amazing the size of this guy and how dominant he is, particularly in the fourth quarter in close games.
That's right. 2:15 to go before he puts his cape on. Here's a lob under the basket. Russell Westbrook gathers, tries a reverse and missed it. Down court to Isaiah Thomas, lifting off for three, no good. DeAndre Jordan and Wall go for it, and it's tipped out of bounds. Last touch by John Wall. It'll be West Ball. Isaiah Thomas at 5'9". He is the shortest multiple All-Star ever in his second All-Star game here tonight. Here's DeAndre Jordan again trying a triple. He shouldn't do that anymore. He missed it wide right. There was nobody within 20 feet. The other way, it's Kyle Lowry with a straight-on three going down, and just like that, the East are within one, and a steal by Lowry at midcourt. Chance for the lead, Lowry for three, yeah! Kyle Lowry back-to-back triples, and a 10-0 East run for a two-point advantage.
Yeah, it seemed like in about 30 seconds they scored 10 points.
90 seconds to go in the third quarter. Klay Thompson on the left sends it to DeAndre Jordan. Is he going to back down Paul Millsap? Nope, he's going to lob it for Westbrook. Couldn't hang on. Jordan got stripped, got it back. Back to Russell, 7 to shoot. He backs up to the left corner, shoots a three and knocks it down and stares at the East bench. The other way, Millsap lob at the rim for Paul George, who flushes.
What is Westbrook now? 22 points.
In 12 minutes.
In 12 minutes.
Here's Westbrook for three. Pops in and out and back down and in. 25 points in 12 minutes
and
for
he's
Westbrook.
Taunting the East bench again.
136-134 West. Lowry for three, missed it short. Rebounded by Draymond Green. 50 seconds to go, third quarter. Sends it left side, Westbrook. Pulls up for three and knocks it down again. 28 for Russell Westbrook. Down court pass stolen by Green. Green says, Russell, where are you? Gives it to him. Shoots a three. Missed it. 40 seconds to go in the third.
I love it. Draymond Green gets it right back to him. Gotta get out of the way of that one.
Paul George sends it in the corner to Thomas. Triple try is good out of the left corner for the Boston Celtics All-Star. 139-137 West. Hayward fakes on the three-point line, drives and stuffs as Millsap lets him go by.
Well, 141 for the West. Going to take a big fourth quarter for somebody to get to 200.
Here's Wall all the way down the lane, driving and flushing for the East. They're down two. Shot clock off, 17 seconds to go. Russell loads up a three and knocks down another. 31 for Westbrook in 13 minutes. And he's waving on the crowd, says, let me hear it from you. He's a showman out there 31. As the West goes up 5.
Oh, my gosh. 13 minutes.
4 seconds to go in the quarter. 3 for Lowry, no. And that'll end the third quarter with the West leading by 5 and the MVP still very much up for grabs.
13 minutes. Russell Westbrook's got 31 points. Unbelievable.
Russell Westbrook had 12 points in the last couple of minutes of the third quarter. We got a 5-point game after 3 here in New Orleans. The NBA on ESPN Radio is brought to you by the Navy Federal Credit Union, proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years, federally insured by NCUA. After 3, it is the West 144, the East 139. This is the 66th NBA All-Star Game presented by Kia on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Monday on Mike and Mike, KD and Russ, Sir Charles and King James, and somehow the biggest story from All-Star Weekend could be Kyrie Irving?
Kyrie, the earth is flat, right?
Yeah. Full reaction from NBA All-Star Weekend 2017 with Jay Williams and Peter Rosenberg. Plus, the NBA trade deadline is Thursday. Who's on the move? And looking at this year's 14 Basketball Hall of Fame nominees, the guys have all the latest Monday on Mike and Mike, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
When you come to Applebee's for an all-in burger with fries and a bottomless Pepsi for just $9.99, you also get a shot at great instant win prizes. Sink your teeth into that. No purchase necessary. Open to legal 50 U.S. 18+. See rules at allintowinsweeps.com.
Hi, this is Maury Moreland Morrison, here to tell you Geico has more than just great savings. Much more. Geico's been around for more than 75 years, back when they were using Morse code. Sorry, that's just my sense of humor. What's more, with Geico you get 24/7 access to licensed agents on the app, online, or over the phone, so you can talk to them at night or in the morning. So forevermore, just know that no other auto insurer has more than Geico. More power to you. Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
This just in, Wendy's is adding the quarter-pound double stack as an option in the 4 for $4 for a limited time. With so much beef, that's a deal so good it should not exist. In related news, because their wings are too small for their bodies, bumblebees should not be able to fly. Here to comment, bees.
Wait, we're not supposed to fly? Kinda like how a quarter-pound of beef should not be in the 4 for $4.
Yet it is. That's over a quarter-pound of fresh beef with 4 nuggets, fries, and a Coke, all for just $4. Any other bee puns?
No, we're good, honey.
At participating Wendy's for a limited time. Meal includes 4-piece nuggets, small fries, and drink. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada. Not valid in Alaska and Hawaii.
Thursday. The NBA trade deadline inches closer. Who's loading up and who's unloading? Hear it here first. ESPN Radio. You are listening to the 66th NBA All-Star Game. Now another All-Star Game moment, celebrating ESPN Radio's 25th anniversary.
Russell Westbrook. He'll take it, fire from the hash mark, and knocked it down. He can do that with proficiency. Trigger another one, and hit another one from the opposite hash mark, and then marches down the floor like a toy robot.
He's got 18 points in over 6 minutes played.
Boy, is he animated. Finds Kobe. Kobe finds Westbrook, and he drills a 3 out of the corner. Westbrook adds to his total.
28.
Russell, congratulations. What does it mean to be back-to-back MVP?
Oh, man, that's an honor, man. It's something, that hasn't happened in a while, man. I'm just honored to be able to be in the game. Can I come out with a victory and being a part of last Kobe Bryant's thing, so it's great.
That is Russell Westbrook. Back-to-back MVPs. Kevin Winter, PJ Carlissimo. We go to the fourth quarter. The MVP's up for grabs, but Russ is making a run. 31 points in 13 minutes. 4 rebounds, 6 assists. West by 5 over the East. Once again, courtside with John Barry. Here's Mark Castisher.
And Kev, his former teammate turned adversary, Kevin Durant, 21 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, closing in on a triple-double. Each team scored 47 points in the third quarter.
Let's see. Somebody's got to separate themselves from the pack here for the MVP here in the fourth.
West's first possession, and Westbrook was red hot, straight on 3. Adds to it. 34 points for the 2-time reigning All-Star Game MVP.
He keeps taunting that East bench.
He had 12 in the third quarter, and he has 3 to open the fourth. Here's Wall driving and kicking to Isaiah Thomas. Fakes a 3, sidesteps to the right, gets off a triple, misses it. Offensive rebound to John Wall. Wall wheels back, mid-post, drives under the basket against Davis, kicks it out to Lowry. Behind the back, escape dribble, gets all the way to the 10 and lays it in. 147-141, West the lead. Down-court pass intercepted by Wall. East ball. Opening minute of the fourth quarter. Here's Wall driving all the way to the rim and jamming it home, and the East now within 4 points.
He's a right-hander, but he dunks with his left every single time he gets to the rim.
Westbrook, a 25-footer fading away toward the sideline, misses a 3. Wall's got it the other end to Thomas. Mr. Fourth quarter, drives and reverse lays it in. East now within 2 points, a minute 10 into this fourth period.
Isaiah now has 18.
Here's Harden lobbing for Davis. Somehow got those long arms out there and dropped it in.
34 for Davis now, 34 for Westbrook on the West.
Here's Walker driving, and no defense from the West for much of the game. Gets an easy layup. Again, a 2-point spread. Down court, Hayward. Catch and shoot 3. Left corner, no. Westbrook flies in, can't get it. And Wall's got it for the East. A chance to tie or take the lead here. Here's Wall straight down the middle. Left side Thomas. Lines up a 3 for the lead. No good, and Gasol rebounds. Quick outlet Westbrook into the forecourt. Westbrook pull up 3. Pops up. Hits the top of the backboard. Offensive board. Anthony Davis puts it in. He's got 36 points. The high man right now tonight. Lowry a 3 on the other end. Missing. Chase down offensive rebound Walker. Walker under the basket. Sends it up top to Carmelo Anthony, who gets off a 3. Missed it. And the rebound tip to Davis. Down court to Harden, extends the arm to gather. At the rim for Russell, had to spin, couldn't get it, but Anthony Davis again cleaning up the garbage. He's got 38.
Yeah, and he only needs, 5 more to get the All-Star record.
That's
43 points in a game.
Will Chamberlain's 42 points at stake here. Here's Lowry diving down the lane on a pass from Thomas, lays it in. 153-149, West leading with 9:20 to go. Here's Harden, lob for Westbrook on the alley-oop. And Russell Westbrook's got 34. Westbrook and Davis bidding for MVP. On the other end, the alley-oop goes from Walker to Wall.
Well, that's 4 of the little guys out there with Carmelo.
That's right. Very small East lineup right now, and pretty big West lineup. And here's Hayward, who's the 3-man at 6'8", receiving the pass, scores. Westbrook, a steal and a jam on the other end. He's up to 38 points.
Oh, my goodness.
Here's Thomas. Thomas to the rim, fouled, and he'll get to the line for 2. Well, we've got 2 guys bidding for Wilt Chamberlain's record. They both may surpass it. I don't know who's going to set it, as Westbrook goes for an unprecedented 3rd straight MVP in an 8-point game as he step away here in New Orleans. 8:48 to go. West 159, East 151. You're listening to the 66th NBA All-Star Game, presented by Kia on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Celebrating 25 years of ESPN Radio. The Yankees and Red Sox. Game 7 of the 2003 ALCS.
Here's Boone. He swings. A long high drive. Down the left field line. It's over. Aaron Boone has homered on the first pitch from Wakefield. And the Yankees have won the pennant.
Don't miss more amazing moments from the last 25 years of ESPN Radio.
I told him, OJ, you're breaking the laws of God.
It's the most decorated documentary of the year, winning over 45 awards, including the Directors Guild of America, the Producers Guild of America, and 4 Critics' Choice Documentary Awards for Best Documentary Feature. Critics have declared it a triumph, a landmark achievement, the #1 documentary of the year, and now it's an Academy Award nominee. OJ, Made in America. Available in its entirety on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN.
ESPN Radio honors Black History Month. How did the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters, known for their fun-loving and entertaining style of basketball showmanship, deal with racism off the court from their inception in 1927 through the civil rights era of the 60s?
In our 90 years, we have played on 6 continents, 122 countries and territories. We've been all over the world, putting smiles on kids' faces.
Their story on ESPN's TheUndefeated.com. The Undefeated. Not conventional, never boring.
You're listening to the 66th NBA All-Star Game on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Alongside PJ Carlissimo, I'm Kevin Winter. The Western Conference has opened up an 8-point lead. It is the most decorated documentary of the year, winning over 45 awards, including the Directors Guild of America, the Producers Guild of America, and 4 Critics' Choice Documentary Awards for Best Documentary Feature. Critics have declared it a triumph, a landmark achievement, the #1 documentary of the year, and now it's an Academy Award nominee. It's OJ, Made in America, available in its entirety on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. PJ, we are watching tonight 2 stars, maybe go 1-2 in a race for the MVP. Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook. Get a leader in the clubhouse?
I know, Kev, because usually when you have 2 guys dueling for MVP, they're on different teams. These guys are on the same team. Russell's got 38, 6 assists, 4 boards, but he did his in 16 and a half minutes. It's taken AD all at 23 minutes to get his 38 and 9. Don't forget Kevin Durant. If he's back, comes back in the game, he's going to get a triple-double. And let's not forget Giannis for the East. He's got 28 and he's 13 for 15. Great show. Not a lot of D, but some unbelievable O.
8:48 to go. West leads a lot to a lot, 159 to 151. Back courtside with John Barry. Here's Mark Kestisher.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. And Westbrook and AD are both still on the floor for the West, JB. And that 61-62 season, that's where we saw Oscar Robertson with the triple-double for the season, which is what Westbrook's going after. And it was also the year Wilt Chamberlain scored his 42 All-Star points. So that is all up for grabs here. That 42 is hanging by a thread as it has the last few years as Isaiah Thomas goes to the free throw line for the East.
It will be interesting who stays in the game. 8:48. They're not both going to finish this game. So if Russell stays, maybe KD comes back on. We get to see a KD help Westbrook get the MVP again. Or the other way around.
As Isaiah Thomas hits the free throws, 159-153. West leading by 6. 8:45 running clock here in the fourth quarter as James Harden gets it into the front court, lobs it down to Gasol. Mark sends it back up to Harden. Lefty 3 on its way, and it splashes down for James Harden. He has been quiet tonight, just his second make, both from Triple Land.
Not all season. He's had an unbelievable season to put Houston, 32 games over 500, 22 games over 500.
And he's got 8 assists tonight. As the East turns it over to the West, 162-153. Biggest lead for either team right now, the West by 9, 8:15 to go. Westbrook cut off on the left wing, passes, gets it back. He dumps it for Gasol, who jump passes out in the right corner. Hayward missing, and the tipped rebound goes to John Wall. He turns up court into the forecourt. Great feed to Thomas, but a little bit behind him. Tipped away, Hayward has it. Over to Westbrook. He'll launch a three, and he'll make another one. 41 for Russell Westbrook. He's now one off the all-time All-Star game record.
He shoots the three at 34% as Kemba Walker gets it to go. 34% in the regular season from the three-point line, and he's 7 of 13 here this afternoon.
Two-time reigning All-Star, trying to make it 3 in a row. Dribbles out to the left. He got a big smile. Gives it to Anthony Davis, who is fighting for MVP. Davis misses a fading shot. John Wall takes the rebound, drives the court, layup missed, and Gasol has the rebound. He'll outlet to Hayward on the right wing. Bounces it to Harden. He'll launch another lefty three. Missed it, but stuffed home by Anthony Davis on the weak side. So 2 from the West at 40-plus right now.
Tit for tat. 41 Westbrook, 40 AD.
11-point game, cut to 8 as Kyle Lowry hits a 3 from the right with 7 minutes to go here in the fourth. And now a timeout as Kyle Lowry fouls Russell Westbrook. I think he better check his hands because he just hit a hot guy who's heated up to about 450 degrees right now.
18 minutes of action. The guy's got 41 points.
And he's staying in the game. John Wall is out. DeMar DeRozan is in for the East. West ball. A lob from half court went in. He was trying to find Anthony Davis, but James Harden's lob went in for 3. Are you kidding me? And like you said, he's having that kind of season. 170 to 159. 6:39 to go in our game. Here comes the East with Melo right wing. He'll launch a 3, and he'll bury that one. The Knicks All-Star in his 10th All-Star game with an 8. Is that Russell Westbrook who
I
that
think
lob?
that might have been Westbrook because they have him at 44 points now.
Coming down the other way, Walker with it, driving, finds DeRozan, 360 spinning but can't finish it. Russell Westbrook down court for Anthony Davis for the flush.
You got to quit passing the ball to Davis is going to take the MVP. They just changed it back. It is
for James Harden on that lob. So here comes the East the other way. Down 10, turning it over. Gordon Hayward's got it. Hayward driving, lob for Davis. He jams it home, and he's got the record. 44 for Anthony Davis. A 55-year-old record falls. The highest scoring game in All-Star history as Kyle Lowry answers with a 3 on the other end.
We got it. We thought we'd do it. Russell Westbrook still has a chance to catch him. He's only 3 back.
I was going to say, is it going to stand? We still got 5:34 to go.
Let's see who's going to be playing. Steve Kerr's got a big decision to make. Leave the hometown guy on here or leave Russell Westbrook out there.
Timeout in New Orleans, 5:34 to go. The West 174 and the East 165. This is the 66th NBA All-Star Game presented by Kia on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
KD and Russ, Phil and Mello, Sir Charles and King James, and somehow the biggest story from All-Star Weekend 2017 could be Kyrie Irving. Details Monday on Mike and Mike, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Progressive presents Mindfulness with Flow.
Your mind is a blank slate as you enter total relaxation. Safe driver, paperless, multi-car. They are wrapping their savings around you. Like the tinfoil that wraps around your hot dog at a ball game, which for some reason costs $12.50.
Switch to Progressive and surround yourself with savings. Visit Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
NFL fans, Operations.NFL.com gives you an exclusive behind-the-scenes look inside NFL Game Day. We cover the players, the officials, and all of the details that go into bringing you America's favorite sport. Not just on game day, but every day. With features like a searchable NFL rulebook, Stats Central, the You Make the Call Interactive, and the Video Rulebook. Operations.nfl.com brings the NFL to life. Go to operations.nfl.com today.
ESPN, supported by Blue Apron. Blue Apron partners with sustainable farms, fisheries, and ranchers to bring you all the ingredients you need to create incredible home-cooked meals. Ingredients come paired with an easy-to-follow recipe card delivered to your door weekly in a refrigerated box. Rediscover how fun cooking can be while enjoying specialty ingredients and exploring new flavors and cuisines. Get your first 3 Blue Apron meals free, plus free shipping by visiting blueapron.com/ESPN.
This is the 66th NBA All-Star Game on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Alongside PJ Carlissimo, I'm Kevin Witcher. We don't know who the MVP will be. We have not reached 200, but we have seen a record fall, PJ. Anthony Davis with 44 points tonight. He breaks Wilt Chamberlain's All-Star Game record. Wilt did it back in 1962. How about this? 17 of 23 was Wilt. He got 24 rebounds. He was 8 of 16 at the free throw line. Little different game back then, huh?
No three-pointers. No three-point shots for the Dipper.
No three-pointers back there. Anthony Davis in the West with a 174-165 lead. What are you looking for over the final 5.5?
I'm just waiting to see who the coaches are going to put in. That's the biggest thing. Kyrie is definitely going to try and get it for the East. KD is back on the floor. Anthony Davis is still on the floor. And is number 0, Mr. Westbrook, on the bench or on the floor. That's what's going to be interesting to me, who finishes the game for both teams.
5:34 to go, 174-165. The West with the lead by 9. Back courtside with John Barry. Here's Mark Kestershire.
All right, guys, and let's get JB's Straight Talk presented by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, half the cost. The record falls, but getting 40 in an All-Star game has been kind of commonplace of late.
Yeah, up till 2014, there were only 2 40-point games in the history of the All-Star game. There's been now 4 of them in the last 3 years. Spectacular performances by these two guys. Look, I'm sure in 1962 it was a little bit different. It wasn't just a free-flowing 174-point game when Wilt Chamberlain got his. But nonetheless, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis have been sensational on the offensive end tonight.
Straight Talk Wireless, nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable networks. So the West will bring it up with a 174-165 lead and 5:28 to go. Here's Marc Gasol, mid-post left, spinning on Anthony. Fading shot is good for the Grizzlies All-Star. The East will have Carmelo Anthony, Kyrie Irving, Paul George, DeMar DeRozan, and Kemba Walker. Out on the left wing, it's Irving. Cuts to the top, guarded by Curry. Passes to DeRozan. 17-footer, no good from the baseline. Durant rebounds. Shovels it ahead to Harden. Little spin move to the three-point line. Lob for Davis on a jam, and he's got 46 to go with his 10 rebounds.
Yeah, what a great pass, James Harden, leading the league in assists.
Biggest lead of the night for the West. Three-pointer in the corner, no good. George, outlet to Durant. 40-foot lob for Davis, and he lays it in for 48 points here in his hometown of New Orleans.
Blowing away the record.
4.5 minutes to go. The West has built a 15-point lead. Here's Irving in the lane. Lays it up, popped out, and Durant rebounds. Durant ahead to Harden. Shovels underneath to Curry. Curry lobs it at the rim, and it falls off. They were trying to get Davis 50, but couldn't get it done there. Here's Kemba Walker. Pass to the right corner. Irving shoots for 3. Knocks it down with 4:13 to go.
Kyrie Irving's special, isn't he? 19 and 11 here. And he's the go-to guy late for the Cleveland Cavs when they need hoops.
There's Davis from the top, missing a deep 2. 4 minutes to go in New Orleans, and the West leading by 12. Here's Kyrie Irving. Little fancy dribbling inside the lane. Kick out to Kemba. His three-pointer pops in and out, rebounded by Gasol. The East had to rally down 18 here in New Orleans for their last win 3 years ago. Here's Harden's pass intercepted by Kyrie. Down court to DeRozan against Durant. Lays it in on the left side with a right hand. We got a 10-point game. 3:35 to go. Gasol to Curry on the left hash. Let's fly, and hits. Curry range from out on the left wing.
Oh, and he's just got 21 points on the evening. 5 threes.
Kind of pedestrian here tonight, eh? Here's Carmelo Anthony, and he drains a triple from the left corner, right in front of the West bench. 10-point game, 3:10 to go. Here's Davis, three-pointer straight on. Oh, he missed it badly off the backboard. And the rebound to Kemba Walker. Feeds Anthony. Steps into a three. Missed it. Long rebound chased down by Kyrie. Sends it in the corner to George. Right back to Irving. Squares for three. Missed it. The East had 2 good looks that time. Down court for Curry. A beautiful pass to three-quarters. Bounces it off the glass. Flushed by Davis. 50 points and counting. An all-star game record here in New Orleans.
He's taken 36 shots. That is truly Wilt-like.
50 points, 10 rebounds for the Pelicans, Anthony Davis. George into the lane, finds Anthony all alone for three, missed it. The West rebound. They lead by 12 with 2:20 to go in the 66th NBA All-Star game. Ahead to Harden. Harden off the glass. Reverse jam Davis, who's up to 52 here in his home building. He might go for 60 tonight, JB.
Okay, I can fill out my ballot now.
Here's DeRozan on the pass down low from Irving, lays it in with 2 minutes to go. The West by 12. Durant was going to leave it for Davis. Instead, lobs. He spins and nearly it was able to put it down unconventionally. Instead, Marc Gasol comes up with a loose ball, gives it to Harden. A long three is all good. 27-footer for Harden that time.
Harden almost a triple-double himself tonight. He's been rather quiet, but 12 points, 11 assists, and 6 boards.
Here's Irving for three. It's good. Meanwhile, the West
10
has
more
190.
Points. We need 10 more.
It's a 12-point game. Durant.
Plenty of time.
With a minute 30 to go. For the rim, Davis, one hand, almost got it. Loose in the lane. The East has it with under 90 seconds left. Here's Walker, 2-on-2. Lob for Paul George, who flushes. 10-point spread with a minute 20 to go. West with the lead. Gasol in the front court. Gasol back to Curry. Curry, long rainbow three, misses. Tipped out of bounds. It'll be East ball with a minute 15 left.
We're not getting to 200.
Well, we do have 370 points on the board, and that's a new record. Last year they combined for 369. 52, a record for Anthony Davis. An all-star game record, and we got a minute 15 to play. The West by 10, 190 to 180 over the East. This is the 66th NBA All-Star game presented by Kia on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Yo, everybody get up! Everybody get up! Everybody needs to understand that I'm more than simply a hype man for this rap group. Just like Geico is more than just a company that can save you money. Geico also has fast and friendly claim service, so they can help you when you need it most. And while I do love being a hype man, I also love reading for children's audiobooks. Like Little Bo Peep, she lost the sheep, and she don't know where to find them. Yo!
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Monday on Mike and Mike, KD and Russ, Sir Charles and King James, and somehow the biggest story from All-Star Weekend could be Kyrie Irving?
Kyrie, the earth is flat, right?
Yeah. Full reaction from NBA All-Star Weekend 2017 with Jay Williams and Peter Rosenberg. Plus, the NBA trade deadline is Thursday. Who's on the move? And looking at this year's 14 Basketball Hall of Fame nominees, the guys have all the latest Monday on Mike and Mike, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
This just in, Wendy's is adding the quarter-pound double stack as an option in the 4-for-4 for a limited time. With so much beef, that's a deal so good it should not exist. In related news, howler monkeys should not be able to be heard from 3 miles away. Here to comment, a howler monkey.
Wow! That sounds like a really good deal!
Indeed. That's over a quarter-pound of fresh beef with 4 nuggets, fries, and a Coke, all for just $4. Anything else, howler monkey?
I'm not allowed in libraries!
At participating Wendy's for a limited time. Meal includes 4-piece nuggets, small fries, and drink. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada. Not valid in Alaska and Hawaii.
You're listening to the 66th NBA All-Star Game on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Alongside PJ Carlissimo, I'm Kevin Winter. We are being treated to what is New Orleans truly. A bunch of brass on display at midcourt, and everyone's celebrating with 1:15 to go in this All-Star game. Don't forget, Mike and Mike, Monday morning with a reaction to this All-Star weekend. Plus, they're going to look ahead to Thursday's NBA trade deadline. Mike and Mike starts each and every weekday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern time on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. PJ, we've got history tonight. Anthony Davis, most points ever in an All-Star game with 52.
Anthony Davis is a great story. I mean, fighting Make's got the injuries. He's had a lot of bad luck. He's still a very young player, long recognized as one of the best talents in the league. So special for him and this city for him to do it right here in the Smoothie King. And let's not forget, kind of quietly, Kevin Durant, 21 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. It's a triple-double.
Well, Durant gets the triple-double. It goes under the radar. Anthony Davis goes over the 50 points. Russell Westbrook is still lighting the world on fire tonight. And can the West get 10 points in 75 seconds? They lead by 10. 190 to 180 is our score for the conclusion of the 66th NBA All-Star Game. Back courtside with John Barry. Here's Mark Kestisher.
Kev, PJ, thanks a lot. Opening night, Anthony Davis had 50 points and 15 rebounds. Follow that up in this building against the Golden State Warriors with 45 and 17. He got off to a fantastic start, and he's showing the NBA world tonight his talents at such a young age.
Incredible 39. PJ mentioned the triple-double for Kevin Durant. Well, James Harden has one. It's kind of a crooked triple-double. 12 points, 11 assists, and 10 turnovers.
Not the one he was looking for. He and Russell Westbrook, what a first half filled with triple-doubles. Giannis Antetokounmpo back on the floor. All he's done is 13 for 15 for 28 points in his first All-Star game. Passes it to Paul George, who misses a
There's
three.
only 4 West All-Stars out on the court right now. Kevin Durant just had to take off his shirt and run in.
They're so good, they only need 4, JB.
Well, they got to stop. That's a rarity.
Here we go. Marc Gasol. How about him for a long three? No good. He's been shooting the 3-ball this year for Memphis at a pretty good rate. And the East comes away with it the other way. Kyrie Irving lobbed it for the Greek Freak, who couldn't gather with the one right hand. And with 41 seconds to go, the West by 10. Harden for 3, no good. Long rebound to Antetokounmpo at the free throw line. 30 seconds to go. East trailing by 10. Kyrie for 3, no. Antetokounmpo trying to slam it off the rim, but misses it. And with 23 seconds to go, James Harden lobs it to Gasol. 2 power dribbles in the lane, and the easy lay-in, 192 to 180 West. Down court, Paul George. George, between the legs, tried to jam, but it came off the rim, and it goes across the way out of bounds with 12.6 to go. Saw a bunch of that in the slam dunk contest last night.
Right, a lot of misses.
Yeah. 12 seconds to go. Inbound is stolen by DeMar DeRozan. Shot clock is off with 9 seconds to go. He could dunk too. He was eyeing the rim. Instead, he sends it to Kyrie Irving. He sees the clock at 3. He sends it to Antetokounmpo with a vicious flush with .4 to go, and the East down 10. Harden inbounds to three-quarters court. I think he was trying to score from 92 feet. But the final buzzer sounds, and historic 66 NBA All-Star Game sees Anthony Davis set a record for most points in an All-Star game as the West beats the East 192 to 182. Well, that was quite a contest. We had Westbrook seeding his All-Star game MVPs, JB, of the last 2, but a little too much Anthony Davis. Once he started to get rolling, his teammates wanted to make sure he finished off a record night.
Well, 39 shot attempts. Yeah, they were looking for him. If you did not like defense, you came to the right place here tonight. Very little defense, but some terrific offensive performances. Russell Westbrook was tremendous as well for the West.
When we come back to New Orleans, we will hear from Shelly Smith as part of the presentation with the winners as the West knocks off the East by a final score of 192 to 182 to win the All-Star Game for the 3rd consecutive year. This is the 66th NBA All-Star Game presented by Kia on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
When you come to Applebee's for an all-in burger with fries and a bottomless Pepsi for just $9.99, you also get a shot at great instant win prizes. Sink your teeth into that. No purchase necessary. Open to legal 50 U.S. 18+. See rules at allintowinsweeps.com.
Did you miss the right time with Bomani Jones?
I can't imagine how furious the head of security had to be. Jim Dolan sent him out here on this thankless mission of kicking out local legend Charles Oakley. And what does he get for his trouble? He appears to have then gotten fired. Would you like to be the guy that had to explain to that dude that he just got fired?
The Right Time with Bomani Jones, weekdays from 4 to 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio or on the ESPN app.
This one's good if it goes.
Oh, dude! Oh, my goodness!
Cow!
Are you kidding me?
The ACC and Big 12 tournament.
Are you kidding?
Coming in March to ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Celebrating 25 years of ESPN Radio. The Bulls and Jazz, Game 5 of the 1997 NBA Finals. The Jordan flu game.
Michael Jordan is sick and missed the shoot-around. Those who saw him say he did not look well. Back Michael, open three, yes! They lead it! 38 points for the Kings!
Don't miss more amazing moments from the last 25 years of ESPN Radio. Monday on Mike and Mike, KD and Russ, Sir Charles and King James, and somehow the biggest story from All-Star Weekend could be Kyrie Irving?
Kyrie, the earth is flat, right?
Yeah. Full reaction from NBA All-Star Weekend 2017 with Jay Williams and Peter Rosenberg. Plus, the NBA trade deadline is Thursday. Who's on the move? And looking at this year's 14 Basketball Hall of Fame nominees, the guys have all the latest Monday on Mike and Mike, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
You know you love the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Do I have to choose right now?
Yes.
I want to think this out a little bit. I want to do what's best for the show.
You are a staller, a procrastinator. You don't finish anything. Man, it's like trying to have sex with a damn rattlesnake. It's just impossible to pin him down. Why do I know what that's like?
The Dan Le Batard Show, now 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNradio.com.
Mike and Mike.
Superstars want their turn with the ball. Was Russell Westbrook taking that away from Kevin Durant? He was, but the thing about it is Russell Westbrook's a star as well.
That's what I mean. In the NBA right now, in order to win, you can't have just one star.
No, you cannot.
Because look at the teams that have just one star. They have no chance of winning the championship.
I'm saying I didn't have an issue with it, but you're asking me if Kevin Durant had an issue with it. Maybe he did. And as we found out, it seems their relationship wasn't as close as we thought.
Mike and Mike on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
ESPN Radio honors Black History Month. Go to theundefeated.com for The Undefeated 44, a collection of dreamers, geniuses, innovators, and record breakers. This is not a list of the greatest African Americans of all time. It's simply The Undefeated 44.
I still have a dream.
I stand here today humbled by the task before us.
In the great tradition of African American culture.
For more stories on Black history, go to theundefeated.com. The Undefeated. Not conventional, never boring.
This is ESPN Radio. Get it now. On demand.
Courtside with Katz and Coach G.
South Carolina head coach Frank Martin, you were able to keep everyone grounded after it looked like you were going to be an NCAA tournament team. How did you get those guys locked in to what we're seeing now, how it's paying off?
They basically accepted responsibility, approached every workout with a purpose to get better.
You can listen or subscribe to this and every podcast from ESPN on the Listen tab of the ESPN app. Russillo and Cannell.
Dominic Wilkins, why do you think so many people have come to the defense of Oakley, knowing that there's a chance maybe Oakley could have done something wrong, too, in this circumstance?
Well, I think because of the respect Oakley gets from a lot of players around the league, retired and current. You know, again, you just hope that they can resolve this problem and come to some type of happy medium and work this thing out, because it's not good for either side.
Russillo and Cannell on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Progressive presents Mindflowness with Flow.
You are on a spiritual journey towards savings. Your mind is drifting into uncharted territory as you use the Name Your Price tool to find policy options that fit your budget. Options that fit perfectly. Like football pants. Or the unitard thingies wrestlers wear.
Experience inner peace with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. Visit Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Hey, it's Russillo. Monday, all the reaction to the NBA All-Star Weekend and those lineups. Brad Doherty, Damian Woody in studio. Russillo and Cannell, starting at 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
The Low Post Podcast with Zach Lowe.
What up, Beck? What up, Lowe?
How worried are you about the Cavs? If Kevin Love and J.R. Smith are back and healthy and playing on like April 1st, and they got a couple weeks to get everybody back in rhythm, and as long as you get to that point without LeBron having exhausted himself, I don't worry about the Cavs being a 4 seed or even a 5 seed. If they're whole on the day that the playoffs start, I think they're fine.
Subscribe or listen to the Low Post Podcast in the Listen tab of the ESPN app. ESPN ESPN Radio On Demand. The First Draft Podcast.
Mel, what's the lowest you can imagine Fournette going?
Wow, I'd probably say 8 to Carolina. I would be surprised if he got past 8. If he slid past 12, where Cleveland is sitting, would be a struggle there to getting past there.
The First Draft Podcast. Listen to it now on ESPNRadio.com. ESPN Radio On Demand. The First Draft Podcast.
Mel, what's the lowest you can imagine Fournette going?
Wow, I'd probably say 8 to Carolina. I would be surprised if he got past 8. If he slid past 12, where Cleveland is sitting, would be a struggle there to getting past there.
The First Draft Podcast. Listen to it now on ESPNRadio.com. The Low Post Podcast with Zach Lowe.
What up, Beck? What up, Lowe? How worried are you about the Cavs? If Kevin Love and J.R. Smith are back and healthy and playing on like April 1st, and they got a couple weeks to get everybody back in rhythm, and as long as you get to that point without LeBron having exhausted himself, I don't worry about the Cavs being a 4 seed or even a 5 seed. If they're whole on the day that the playoffs start, I think they're fine.
Subscribe or listen to the Low Post Podcast in the Listen tab of the ESPN app.
This is The Right Time with Bomani Jones on ESPN Radio. Bomani.
This is how disingenuous the NCAA is when it comes down to paying players. They will have all these holes there where your pops can get some cash, or your pops can get a job, or your high school coach, he can wind up getting a job. You, player, actually out here endangering your own body. Nah, we're not giving you any money.
The Right Time with Bomani Jones. Weekdays from 4 to 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio or on the ESPN app.
The ESPN app.
This for the win! Yes! Is the home court.
Let's it go!
Of college basketball.
For 3 in the win.
ESPN Radio. This week in sports history, February 24th, 2002. Team Canada won the Olympic gold medal in hockey, beating Team USA 5-2 in the Winter Olympics held in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Sakic scores, and that makes it 5-2 Canada. Surely, that's gotta be it.
Celebrating 25 years of ESPN Radio. This is the 66th NBA All-Star Game on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Alongside PJ Carlissimo inside the Smoothie King Center, I'm Kevin Winter in the Ford Service Postgame Show, the 66th NBA All-Star Game. It goes to the Western Conference again, 192-182. Tonight's All-Star Game brought to you by Applebee's. Get your choice of all-in burgers, fries, and a bottomless Pepsi for $9.99. You could win great prizes like producer for a day on the Mike and Mike Show. West over the East. Again, your highlights are coming up. First, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the 66th NBA All-Star Game presented by Kia on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Kevin Winter, PJ Carlissimo with you on the Ford Service Postgame Show. Third time in 9 years, the city of New Orleans has been the host for the All-Star Game. Our game recap, choose Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline for the best total engine protection you can get. PJ, one of the storylines coming in was Russell Westbrook. Could he get 3 consecutive MVP awards? Oh, there was also that little Russell Westbrook-Kevin Durant thing that they had going on.
There's Westbrook from Durant on a beautiful feed. Former teammates tying, and the crowd cheers as they get together on a bucket. Here's Kyrie Irving answering with a triple from the left wing, 34-28 East.
The bucket from Russell Westbrook, from Kevin Durant. You'll hear it and you'll see the highlights because that kind of broke the ice. In fact, Steve Kerr told our Shelley Smith at the half, we had a little bit of a presentation to try to get everyone a little comfortable. They were able to do that. Russell Westbrook was off and running right away, but he had a running mate this evening, and it was the de facto host.
Draymond lob for Anthony Davis, who flushes. And now a steal by Davis. Davis the other way, jams it again. 32 for Anthony Davis.
Definitely making his case for All-Star MVP.
He would make his case indeed, JB. It's our Drive of the Week brought to you by Honda. Start something special with a great deal on a Honda. Now at your Honda dealer, Anthony Davis, the man for the New Orleans Pelicans, getting it done, getting lots of shots up tonight in this All-Star game, doing it from the inside. He's one of the best young players this league has to offer. Many found out tonight the Eastern Conference has one as well.
There's Paul George, elbow jumper. No, Antetokounmpo just flew over Curry and jammed it home.
Oh, Steph's laughing. He got him again. He wants to see the replay. He's looking at the replay.
Last time he dove to the floor to get out of the poster. This time he's right in the frame.
Yeah, that's the kind of night it was, by the way, for Steph Curry. And yes, the and one was screaming in the background from Kevin Durant. Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Milwaukee Bucks was all over the place this evening. A fantastic night. He drops 30 points, and he does it on 14 of 7 shooting, and his athletic ability is something we'll talk about with PJ. But again, this night belonged to the host.
Gordon Hayward's got it. Hayward driving, lob for Davis. He jams it home, and he's got the record. 44 for Anthony Davis. A 55-year-old record falls. The highest scoring game in All-Star history as Kyle Lowry answers with a 3 on the other end.
We got it. We thought we'd do it. Russell Westbrook still has a chance to catch him. He's only 3 back.
Yeah, we had 2 guys tracking down Wilt Chamberlain's record from 1962, which was 42 points in an All-Star game. Anthony Davis got it, but he wasn't done, and it's our turning point of the game, brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO.
Ahead to Harden. Harden off the glass. Reverse jam Davis, who's up to 52 here in his home building. He might go for 60 tonight, JB.
Okay, I can fill out my ballot now.
A lot of that was going on, PJ, as John Barry filled out the MVP ballot. We sat up here and marveled as the Western Conference wins again, 192-182. Sometimes in a game like this, the score it is what it is, but it's the individual performance and the MVP performance of the hometown kid, Anthony Davis.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. I think Russell kind of consciously, because they were both basically at 40 and like, who's going to break Wilt's record, who's going to be MVP. I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised to find out at that timeout if Russell said to Steve Kerr, take me out, let him get it, because they clearly, everything started going to AD. They knew he was closing in on 50, and I think the players wanted him to get it. I think it was a conscious step back by Russell Westbrook.
2 things. Let's remember, number one, the first play of the game was an ISO for Anthony Davis holding the basketball. That's how we started this evening. Did you sense players like to have fun, but we've known Russ to have that scowl on his face? Did you sense that Russ had some fun tonight?
Well, I think he definitely had some fun. I think also at the end, I think if that's what happened, I think it was a classy move. But he also knows I'll get 50 next year, so don't worry about it. No problem for him. Let's not forget, Anthony Davis, this is his 4th All-Star game. He's going to be 24 in March. 24 in March.
If you are NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, you sat back this evening, as much as we've discussed the passing of the torch, no Tim Duncans, no Kobe Bryants anymore. LeBron is getting up there. He won't want us to say that, but he is.
You said it, LeBron. That was not me saying that.
The talent in the youth that was on display this evening was through the roof. 52 for Anthony Davis. He's your All-Star Game MVP. More post-game reaction as the Western Conference wins again from the Smoothie King Center here in the Ford Service post-game show. This is the 66th NBA All-Star Game on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Most Tuesdays are just Tuesdays, except at Buffalo Wild Wings, where Tuesdays are Wing Tuesdays. But now even Wing Tuesdays aren't just Wing Tuesdays, because Wing Tuesdays are half-price Wing Tuesdays, which means your boring Tuesday that became Wing Tuesday now costs you half as much. In case you're confused, we have half-price Wing Tuesdays. We do it for you. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Prices and participation vary. See participating locations for details. Void where prohibited. Hi, this is Maury Moreland Morrison, here to tell you Geico has more than just great savings. Much more. Geico's been around for more than 75 years, back when they were using Morse code. Sorry, that's just my sense of humor. What's more, with Geico you get 24/7 access to licensed agents on the app, online, or over the phone, so you can talk to them at night or in the morning. So forevermore, just know that no other auto insurer has more than Geico. More power to you. Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Do you want to hear Ike and MJD talk about their top touchdown celebrations of the week?
It's about uplifting folks.
Do you want your daily fix of NFL fantasy news with Fantasy Live?
And I wouldn't draft a quarterback until at least the 5th round.
That's NFL Now. It's your one-stop shop for live videos, trending news, and behind-the-scenes access to your favorite team. Touchdown! Check it out on your smartphone, tablet, or select connected TV devices. Go to NFL.com/now or watch it on the NFL mobile app today.
Check out my latest find, a Babe Ruth autographed baseball I bought from University Archives. Okay, I'm on universityarchives.com. Abraham Lincoln, Muhammad Ali, Marilyn Monroe, Einstein, a book signed by the first 40 Super Bowl MVPs. These are unbelievable.
Own a museum-quality piece of America's history, from signed rare books and letters to other personal possessions of the most iconic figures of past and present. Go to universityarchives.com, where you can bid on truly remarkable collectibles.
Monday morning with Greeny and Golick. Peter Rosenberg fresh from the NBA Celebrity Game. Plus Booger McFarland and Jay Williams. It's Mike and Mike. Starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. Monday on Mike and Mike, KD and Russ, Sir Charles and King James. And somehow the biggest story from All-Star Weekend could be Kyrie Irving?
Kyrie, the earth is flat, right?
Yeah. Full reaction from NBA All-Star Weekend 2017 with Jay Williams and Peter Rosenberg. Plus, the NBA trade deadline is Thursday. Who's on the move? And looking at this year's 14 Basketball Hall of Fame nominees, the guys have all the latest Monday on Mike and Mike, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
ESPN Radio honors Black History Month. What's it like to be a black athletic director in charge of a major conference program? ESPN's TheUndefeated.com conducted a roundtable discussion with African-American athletic directors at some of the most elite athletic programs in the country.
There's an extra level of scrutiny as a black man in who I hire. You want to be very confident you've collected enough evidence to support that decision, because I will be questioned.
To hear the discussion and for more on Black History Month, go to TheUndefeated.com. The Undefeated. Not conventional, never boring. This is the Stephen A. Smith Show.
So if you're the Cleveland Cavaliers and you indeed had an opportunity to swap Kevin Love for Carmelo Anthony, how you feeling right now? And if you're LeBron James and you know they had the opportunity to do that, but passed on it, and Kevin Love finds himself in this situation with his questionable health, how you feeling right now? These are the kind of things you got to think about. Not a good day for the Cleveland Cavaliers, not by any stretch of the imagination.
The Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM Channel 80 and the ESPN app.
This is ESPN Radio. The NBA on ESPN Radio.
James drive, puts it up with an emphatic right hand. Out to Curry and another three's up and in.
Now available on the ESPN app. This copyrighted broadcast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the NBA.
Back inside the Smoothie King Center alongside PJ Carlissimo. I'm Kevin Winter on the Forward Service postgame show, where the Western Conference has won the All-Star Game for the third straight year, for the sixth time in 7 years, and for the eighth time in 11. The difference, though, we have a new MVP.
Down court for Curry, a beautiful pass to three-quarters. Bounces it off the glass, flushed by Davis. 50 points and counting, an All-Star Game record here in New Orleans.
He's taken 36 shots. That is truly Wilt-like.
50 points, 10 rebounds for the Pelicans, Anthony Davis.
He would finish with 52, but that is our play of the game. Brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. A new All-Star Game record, 52 points for Anthony Davis, and he does it in his own home building. But he had some competition, not from the Eastern Conference, from his own teammate, Russell Westbrook, who a short time ago met the media downstairs.
AD told me the other day that he spoke to you about how to win the MVP, and you gave him a little advice. Can you just talk about that? And
yeah, I told him. Yeah.
What you told him and his performance tonight.
You know, he did a good job. He got it done.
You told him to shoot early and often, and
no, that's what you said.
Next question in the center.
Obviously, you and Anthony have a very close relationship. How was it tonight watching your friend play so well in his home in his home arena?
It was great, man. It's definitely always a great thing to do, especially here where he plays in front of his fans, his family. And it's a great experience, and definitely happy for him.
Russell, how did you see Giannis Antetokounmpo performance? He's a rookie in an All-Star game.
Did good. Did a good job. Got a lot of dunks. I mean, All-Star game that's what it's about. He played hard.
Last one right up here in the front before we get to Kyrie.
Russ, I'm sorry to break this great atmosphere, but the first quarter you kind of made peace with Kevin Durant or whatever happened. Can you take us back into the first quarter?
Oh, that was a question?
Yeah. Sorry, but the question is, first quarter, you and Kevin Durant, you pass the ball to each other, kind of, have some fun. It's all over now.
Yeah, he threw a lob. That's all that happened. He just threw a lob. It's basketball.
Yeah.
That's it.
No high fives, nothing.
Did you see it?
I mean, I was very happy in the draft.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. You have a great time. I see you guys in the second half of the season.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Russ. Kyrie will be right up.
Oh, that's one way to end that press conference and that conversation. Back here upstairs with PJ Carlissimo. I'm Kevin Winter, the Ford Service postgame show. Bottom line, that is now finally done. The Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook angle. They have one more matchup coming up in the regular season to the Thunder and the Warriors. But tonight, it was really about Russell Westbrook because he put on a show late in the third quarter from beyond the arc. And then Anthony Davis took it over. And it was almost as if Russ passed him the torch, PJ.
Well, I think he did. They went at it with, against each other. They blew the game open. And then the only, wouldn't even call it suspense. You knew one of them was going to get Will. I thought there was a chance they were both going to go by Wilt. Who was going to get the MVP? I think Russell stepped aside. That's fine. A lot of other performances. This doesn't count. Isaiah Thomas got his 42nd straight game with 20 points. Not quite official. We had double-doubles all over the place.
So that meant he had about 9 in the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Mr. Fourth Quarter at it again.
A lot of really entertaining offense. I think a great debut for Giannis Antetokounmpo. A very entertaining game. And I agree with John. A little bit of defense wouldn't hurt. You don't want anybody to get injured in the game, but you can't get out of guys' way. And we've really gone top-heavy the other way now with offense and hardly any defense at all.
Well, 192, 182, that doesn't say a lot to you. How about this? The next time we're all together, it will be in the month of June. And I mean all, everyone from the NBA to put on a show like this. It'll be for the NBA Finals. Will it be in Cleveland and in Oakland?
Well, I think it should be. The mystery in the East is the health. How long's JR and K-Love going to be out when they come back? Will they have enough time together? I'm excited in Philly watching Joel Embiid return, watching the debut of Ben Simmons. How much is Ibaka going to help Toronto? Can they make a run at Cleveland? In the West, it's still, there's no question it's the Warriors. Pau Gasol will play after the All-Star break in San Antonio. I do think San Antonio can make a run at them, not for first place, but I think they can give them a great series. But I'm going to be very surprised if it's anybody other than those two again. For the first time in NBA history, same two teams meet for 3 consecutive finals.
Think about it. Never happened with the great Celtics and Lakers teams, no matter when they were. Been a pleasure, my friend.
Yeah, Kev, really enjoyed it. It was a great weekend in New Orleans.
It certainly was. May not be over for some of us yet. And this has been the Ford Service postgame show. No one knows your Ford better than Ford and Ford Service. Once again, our final score, the Western Conference beats the Eastern Conference 192 to 182, and Anthony Davis of the host New Orleans Pelicans is your All-Star Game MVP with an All-Star Game record, 52 points. Coming up next on ESPN Radio, Jordan and Fitz, the executive producer of the NBA on ESPN Radio, and the producer of tonight's broadcast is John Martin. Our director of event production, Steve Haddad. Tonight's technicians, Al Rosenberg and Bob White. On-site studio producer, Mike Susi with a fabulous job all weekend long. Coordinating studio producer in Bristol, Connecticut, Bill Enever. Our associate producer, Rob Kelly. Our technical director, Camilo Ortiz. And now from Mark Kestisher, John Barry, Mark Stein, and Shelley Smith, and PJ Carlissimo, I'm Kevin Winter. The West wins again, 192-182. That'll do it for us from the city of New Orleans. We thank you for listening to the 66th NBA All-Star Game on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Monday on Mike and Mike, NBA All-Star Weekend Recap with Bomani Jones, Mark Stein, and Stephen A. Smith. Plus, Damian Woody joins with Booger McFarland and Jay Williams. Monday on Mike and Mike, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
This is the competition the entire world will be watching.
Are you ready for some Oscars?
The hottest movie stars go head-to-head for the gold.
And the Oscar goes to...
With performances by Justin Timberlake, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Sting, and John Legend.
I'm freaking out.
Hollywood's biggest name, Leonardo DiCaprio, Scarlett Johansson, Halle Berry, Samuel L. Jackson. Hollywood's biggest prize.
Thank you so very much.
Jimmy Kimmel hosts.
What could possibly go wrong?
The Oscars, live, Sunday, February 26th on ABC.
Celebrating 25 years of ESPN Radio. The Bulls and Jazz, Game 5 of the 1997 NBA Finals. The Jordan flu game.
Michael Jordan is sick and missed the shoot-around. Those who saw him say he did not look well. Back Michael, open three, yes! They lead it, 38 points for the Kings.
Don't miss more amazing moments from the last 25 years of ESPN Radio.
Tuesday basketball on the SEC Network. Number 13 Kentucky descends on Missouri. The Wildcats are fighting for postseason position.
Every game matters, man.
Smoke, 3-ball. Yes!
The Tigers are looking for an upset.
He's smart.
Ball fake. For a year again. Got it again.
13th ranked Kentucky versus Missouri. Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern on the SEC Network.
Unbelievable the attention that this World Baseball Classic was able to create.
The World Baseball Classic, March 20th through March 22nd on ESPN Radio.
End your day with SportsCenter at Night with Stan and Neil.
I need Stan. It's the two of us who makes this work.
You have a way with words, my friend.
I've been told that from time to time.
I think we're in for something special.
End your day on a surprise.
He's everywhere else, and now he's on SportsCenter. Kevin Hart.
He is all fired up to be here. David Spade.
DJ Khaled.
It's a major key to get me on this show, trust me.
End your day on a highlight. SportsCenter at Night with Stan and Neil. Weeknights, 1 a.m. Eastern on ESPN.
ESPN Radio honors Black History Month. Willie O'Ree is often called the Jackie Robinson of hockey. Learn how O'Ree, who made his NHL debut on January 18, 1958 with the Boston Bruins, was able to play despite being legally blind in his right eye.
I didn't realize at the time that I had broken barriers and opened doors. It wasn't until I read it in the paper.
His story and more on ESPN's TheUndefeated.com. The Undefeated. Not conventional, never boring.
Monday on Mike and Mike, KD and Russ teammates once again. LeBron denies rivalry with Steph and all the latest from NBA All-Star Weekend 2017. Full recap with Stephen A. and Bomani Jones. Plus the Pistons, Pelicans, and Kings rumored to be making trades as the Thursday deadline approaches. Don't miss it when Mark Stein joins us with all the latest moves. Plus Damian Woody, Peter Rosenberg, and Booger McFarland join. It's Mike and Mike Monday, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
NBA Saturday Primetime on ABC. Dwayne Wade and LeBron James share the court again.
Turn down for romance. LeBron bringing the house down early. Turn down for what? Wade electrifying the crowd.
The two former teammates square off in Cleveland. NBA Saturday Primetime. Bulls, Cavs, Saturday at 8:30 Eastern on ABC.
Turn down for what?
And now, Jordan and Fitz with Jordan Rogers and Jason Fitz on ESPN Radio.
And on the ESPN app.
Jordan and Fitz. I'm Jason Fitz. He's Jordan Rogers. Coming at you just on the heels of the All-Star game. Ton of hype. Everybody was excited for it. Put up huge numbers. And I'm sitting here watching it thinking, I wanted something more. I wanted something more. I wanted something more out of what we were seeing between Durant and Russell Westbrook. I wanted a brawl. That's what I wanted. We put so much hype under this thing about what we thought we were going to get. We put so much there. I feel like we got a little cheated. Here's what I wanted. You remember when you're in elementary school, right? And there's two kids that are going to fight. Everybody talks about it all day. You're excited to go see the fight. That's what you're waiting for. You're excited that it's going to happen, right? So everybody goes out to the playground after the end of the school day. They're running out there. They want to actually see the brawl, okay? That's where we all were. It was sort of strung along for us the entire way. It was strung along that we were going to get this great brawl moment between two now huge rivals, and this is going to be the clash of the Titans, and everyone's going to have to see it. That's where we were. And instead, I felt like we got out there and nobody really cared. Like nobody was in for it. It was so anticlimactic. The whole school ran out to the schoolyard. They're all waiting for the fight. And we get nothing. I mean, nothing. There wasn't even a mean look. I think we all got trolled. That's what happened here. The NBA trolled all of us, okay? We all thought that we were going to get some sort of a great moment, some sort of a great brawl, and instead, it was sort of a joke. I feel cheated. I thought we were going to get this this awesome moment. Look, the All-Star game, we're going to get into a lot of this over the course of the night. We're going to get into some of what they could do to fix some of it, some hot trade rumors. There's all sorts of stuff flying around everywhere with this thing, and we're going to get into it. But how disappointed are we all that we didn't get some sort of drama? It's like watching my wife watches all of the Housewives. It doesn't matter what city, really. I mean, I guess it's mainly Orange County, I think. I don't know. But it really doesn't matter. You put housewife at the end of anything, and my wife is 100% in to watch it. She is not watching it because she wants to watch a bunch of adults communicate well and sort of work through problems in appropriate adult. She doesn't want to watch adulting. She wants to watch drama, right? We didn't want to watch an all-star game just to watch a bunch of all-stars. We wanted to see some drama. That was the epic fail. All of that buildup, why didn't they just put them both in the starting lineup to begin with? Because when it finally happened, everybody, we all wanted to see it, and there was nothing there. Oh, Steve Kerr, how you disappoint. It's funny that even the players were sort of trolling us. After they got their time together and beautiful alley-oop, beautiful dunk play, the two of them work well together. There's this great moment on the court together. What happens to the team? The team rallies together and they jump around and they cheer and they have this great exciting moment. We didn't get to see the fight. Even the players on the sidelines, the players sitting at the bench were jumping up and down and cheering it like they pulled one over on all of us. I can't wrap my head around what I wanted, but I know what I wanted was something more. I wanted tension, right? I don't know. I wanted eyeballs that were sort of glaring at each other. I wanted maybe a shove on the court, like maybe the two of them go up for the same rebound and it just turns into something huge. That's what I wanted out of the gate, and we got none of it. What we got was a joke of an all-star game in defense. We got a bunch of guys running around, nobody even trying to stop anybody. And the one thing that was the calling card, the one thing we were all sort of tuned in for, the one thing we all wanted to watch for was completely anticlimactic. I feel like we got trolled. Good on the NBA for getting all of us to pay attention. Look, we're going to hear, like I said, we're going to talk a lot about sort of the fails and successes over the weekend, and I want to make sure you hear from Russell Westbrook. We'll do that straight ahead. You're listening to Jordan and Fitz on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
As an individual investor, you may have thought sophisticated investment management was only for the wealthy. Not anymore. Zacks Advantage is the actively managed, performance-driven, automated online investment advisory service that builds, monitors, and rebalances your portfolio so you don't have to. Now for a limited time, with fees up to 75% lower than traditional advisors and a minimum investment of just $5,000, you can take advantage of Zacks' 30 years of investment management experience. Call 1-888-748-2750 today to speak with an advisor. Right now, you can save 30% off our already low fees for the life of your account. Low fees, low minimums, and 30 years of experience. That's the Zacks Advantage. Call 1-888-748-2750. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. Potential for loss exists with any investment. Material is for informational purposes only. It is not investment, legal, accounting, or tax advice or a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold a security. No advice is given about a strategy suitability for a particular investor. For additional information, go to ZacksAdvantage.com. Call 1-888-748-2750.
This for the win! Yes! Is the home court.
Let's it go!
Of college basketball.
For three in the win.
ESPN Radio.
Phyllis.
Hairball, don't you be after Paul, and don't you dare come down on the University of Alabama.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, Monday at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and on the SEC Network.
I told him, OJ, you're breaking the laws of God.
It's the most decorated documentary of the year, winning over 45 awards, including the Directors Guild of America, the Producers Guild of America, and 4 Critics' Choice Documentary Awards for Best Documentary Feature. Critics have declared it a triumph, a landmark achievement, the #1 documentary of the year, and now it's an Academy Award nominee. OJ, Made in America. Available in its entirety on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN.
The Low Post Podcast with Zach Lowe.
What up, Beck?
What up, Lowe?
How worried are you about the Cavs?
If Kevin Love and J.R. Smith are back and healthy and playing on like April 1st, and they got a couple weeks to get everybody back in rhythm, and as long as you get to that point without LeBron having exhausted himself, I don't worry about the Cavs being a 4 seed or even a 5 seed. If they're whole on the day that the playoffs start, I think they're fine.
Subscribe or listen to the Low Post Podcast in the Listen tab of the ESPN app.
Tuesday basketball on the SEC Network. Number 13 Kentucky descends on Missouri. The Wildcats are fighting for postseason position.
Every game matters, man.
Monk, 3-ball. Yes! The Tigers are looking for an upset.
Be smart. Ball fake. For a year again. Got it again.
13th ranked Kentucky versus Missouri. Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern on the SEC Network.
ESPN Radio honors Black History Month. What's it like to be a black athletic director in charge of a major conference program? ESPN's TheUndefeated.com conducted a roundtable discussion with African-American athletic directors at some of the most elite athletic programs in the country.
There's an extra level of scrutiny as a black man in who I hire. You want to be very confident you've collected enough evidence to support that decision, because I will be questioned.
To hear the discussion and for more on Black History Month, go to TheUndefeated.com. The Undefeated. Not conventional, never boring.
End your day with SportsCenter at Night with Stan and Neil.
I need Stan. It's the two of us who makes this work.
You have a way with words, my friend.
I've been told that from time to time.
I think we're in for something special.
End your day on a surprise.
He's everywhere else, and now he's on SportsCenter. Kevin Hart.
He is all fired up to be here. David Spade.
DJ Khaled.
It's a major key to get me on this show, trust me.
End your day on a highlight. SportsCenter at Night with Stan and Neil. Weeknights, 1 a.m. Eastern on ESPN.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm John Brickley. The Big Easy has become the landing spot for the stars in the NBA. The All-Star Game held Sunday in New Orleans, containing numerous storylines, including LeBron James making his 13th All-Star appearance. Add to that the pursuit of a third straight MVP award for Russell Westbrook. And, playing with that guy, his former teammate in OKC, one Kevin Durant.
There's Westbrook from Durant on a beautiful feed. Former teammates tying, and the crowd cheers as they get together on a bucket. Here's Kyrie Irving answering with a triple from the left wing, 34-28 East.
Mark Kessler on the call for ESPN Radio. Westbrook ended with 41. KD a triple-double. And kudos to West head coach Steve Kerr, who told Ramona Shelburne that prior to the game, showed a funny video to break the tension between the two superstars. The West did win for the third straight year, knocking off the East 192-182, highlighted by Anthony Davis's record performance of 52 points, also added in 10 rebounds, being named the MVP. Now, the Pelicans potentially could be making some noise with the trade deadline coming up in the next week. ESPN's Mark Stein reporting that the Kings are strongly considering a trade offer from New Orleans for DeMarcus Cousins, in which they would receive 2 future first-round picks as well as Buddy Hield. Top 25 in college basketball saw Wisconsin get a double-double from Nigel Hayes. Ethan Happ also added in 21 in the 11-point victory over Maryland. Marcus Foster, a career-high 35 points in Creighton's 87-70 victory over Georgetown.
Monday on Mike and Mike, NBA All-Star Weekend Recap with Bomani Jones, Mark Stein, and Stephen A. Smith. Plus, Damian Woody joins with Booger McFarland and Jay Williams. Monday on Mike and Mike, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Jordan and Fitz on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. We're getting you sort of caught up on everything from the All-Star game. Obviously, a huge night for the NBA. And a big night for drama. The drama is what we all wanted, and it didn't live up. The drama just it didn't live up. You know, and that's the frustrating thing for all of us is. What we wanted to see was something. We wanted to see something huge, and it didn't happen. Now, we're not the only ones. Obviously, Russell Westbrook had something to say about this also. So, you know, through this entire process, we're trying to figure out exactly where everything stands. We're trying to figure out what's going on. We're trying to figure out if there really is drama or if there isn't drama, because from what I'm seeing, it didn't look like there was. So the question is, what did they see? This is they asked Russell Westbrook about it. This is what he had to say.
Russ, I'm sorry to break this great atmosphere, but you know, the first quarter you kind of made peace with Kevin Durant or whatever happened. Can you take us back into the first quarter?
Oh, that was the question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but the question is, first quarter, you and Kevin Durant, you pass the ball to each other, kind of, have some fun. It's all over now.
Yeah, he threw a lob. That's all that happened. He just threw a lob. It's basketball.
Yeah.
That's it.
No high fives, nothing.
Did you see it?
I mean, I was very happy in the draft.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. Y'all have a great time. I'll see you guys in the second half of the season.
Even in that moment, they're still trying to pretend there's drama. I just don't believe it. You know where there's never drama? There's never drama when I get to hang out with Jordan. Jordan, how you doing, buddy?
What do you mean there's never drama? I'm just trying to get on the show here to chat a little bit of basketball. I can't even get on here, Fitz, but we are live. We're rolling. I'm ready to roll. And you know what? The thing that we're talking about here is the new boxing. That is what is becoming of the NBA. They are the promoting kings right now of all sports. Talk about Money Mayweather and what he's able to do with promoting fights. Look what the NBA has done with KD and Westbrook. Come on.
It's a strong analogy, man. But the interesting thing about the way the NBA's done it is this sort of fits their brand, right? Everything for the NBA is about personality. It's not about it is the sport that's built on the brand of individuals, not on the team. So as a result, we buy into these sort of soap opera moments. We buy into these rivalries. But I was watching the game, and I think, I'll admit it, I think I bought too far in to what I perceived would be some sort of deep-rooted hatred. And you listen to the cuts like that where Westbrook's talking about it after the game, you feel like you see that. But when you watch the game, I didn't get that feeling at all when I was actually watching the game.
Fitzy, it's a highly individualistic sport. You talk about who gets the shoe contracts. Teams don't get the shoe contracts. Players get the shoe contracts. Little kids grow up dreaming and wanting to be one player. They don't dream up wanting to play on a team. They want to be one guy. So you talk about matchups. It's always the matchups that we're talking about. It's who can be the villain and who's going to be the hero. And the NBA wants to villainize heroes even, as KD was a hero for so long and now he's being villainized. And now Russell Westbrook is kind of taking the charge as, the flag bearer to someone that's going to right the NBA with anger, with a chip on his shoulder. And they play this up and it gets people to watch. It gets me to watch. And then you turn on the TV and what you get is a product that it far, far underscores anything that you want to see competitive-wise. When we talk about an all-star game, that's a different story, but I'm talking about the promoting power of the NBA right now and everything that's going on. It completely falls flat when you build up to something like the all-star game tonight. You build up to the other night when it was KD, Westbrook. It's just not the product that a former athlete or a fan wants to see from a competitive standpoint.
I mean, in that sense, you're talking about the heroes and the villains and the ability to turn from good guy to bad guy and the way it's promoted. As you're talking, what I'm thinking is it feels like pro wrestling. I mean, that's where we are at this point with the NBA and the way they're marketing it. It feels like they're trying to get me to buy into like a good old school WWF like headline. That's what I feel like we're watching. And to that end, that's kind of what I felt like the product was. It was a fake game. It was a fake game. There was nothing real. If you're a purist talking about the glory of the NBA, how did you see any of that in this game tonight? I didn't. Did you?
Not at all. You talk about, and even at one point when Westbrook is getting into the 40-point range, and they talk about the number of 40-point games in the NBA All-Star game, and I think there was only 4 that have happened. We talked back to Wilt Chamberlain when he did it in the 60s. That product that was on the court was nothing like what we saw tonight. There was things at stake. It was a different sport. I think the NBA and players individually were playing for something more than just the name on the back of the jersey. So that 40 points holds a lot more weight than I think Westbrook's did tonight. But it's just, what this does? I watched the All-Star game, and the numbers, are they going to get 200 points? Is on pace to 100 combined, 101 combined points in the first quarter. It's like, it's a joke. It's becoming what the Pro Bowl is for the NFL. You turn on that game, you don't want to watch that. Guys don't want to play in that. It's not an all-star game. It's a chance for these guys to get on the court, hang out a little bit, do what they're very good at, but do it in a way that there's no pressure on the line. So they don't need to play defense. They don't really need to play offense. They're going to take shots from wherever they want to take shots. They might as well be playing a pickup game. Is that the product that fans want to see? I don't think so. I think fans want to see the reason the All-Star game has allure is you have the best players in the game playing on the same team. You get a chance to see the best playing with the best against the best. But you take competition out of the recipe there, and you get a very poor product. They're not playing for anything. They don't have any intrinsic motivation to play well on both sides of the ball. It's a very watered-down exhibition spectacle. And I guess if that's what the NBA wants to put on the court, then that's okay. But I'm not sure that's what I want to see, nor am I sure that that's what the NBA fans want to see.
I'm Jason Fitz. He's Jordan Rogers. You're listening to Jordan and Fitz on ESPN Radio. If you missed it, the Western Conference topped the Eastern Conference tonight, 192 to 182. That is not a misspeak. 192 to 182, and it felt like they took the foot off the gas a little at the end of the game. I mean, it felt like this thing could have gone into the 200s. So we're not exaggerating when you say this was a complete an utter fail to me in the sense of what the NBA can be. Look, I think the point of an All-Star weekend is to find a way to take a casual fan and re-engage them into your sport, right? That's the thing. Because if you're an NBA nut, you're going to watch the All-Star game no matter what. So All-Star weekend is not for the NBA nuts. It's for all the outliers that are sort of fans. And those are the guys that you've got to get them locked in so that they want to come into it. They want to be drawn into the product. And their attempt to do that tonight and overall on the weekend as a whole, I think, was an absolute disgrace. I mean, you cannot look at this product in any way and say that that represents what the NBA wants to be about. And it didn't represent any competitive spirit from the biggest stars in the sport. There's a moment where, as much as I get that NFL players have a camaraderie together and a bond together and seem to like each other more than past generations. I've never seen anything like what we saw tonight, where there was no pride in any sort of a product. It was just who can shoot the most for themselves, who can take the most shots, and who can feel like they're the big boy in class. And through all of it, it just it ruins what the NBA could have had tonight.
And so how do you fix that, Fitzy? How do we create a product? No, here's a better question. Does the NBA want to fix that? The NFL has tried to almost recreate what the Pro Bowl is and tried ways to make it more competitive, skills, challenge, etc. Does the NBA want this to be a competitive game, or do they want 200 points? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't know.
Well, and that's an interesting question, because for all of the grief that the Pro Bowl gets, one thing people have to understand, obviously tonight's, we don't have the ratings yet, but last year was considered to be a fairly epic fail in Pro Bowl ratings, and it still did better than the NBA All-Star Game. So the NFL, the narrative around the Pro Bowl every year is, man, you got to get it fixed because it doesn't work and people aren't watching it enough, and it's doing better than this NBA All-Star Game did last year. And you watch tonight's product, and it's a reminder of why. I just think that what comes out on TV doesn't engage the casual fan, and it doesn't engage the pure NBA fan, because it doesn't serve any of those people in the product. Look, I think I have a way that we can fix it. We'll get into that on the other side. You're listening to good that I know the name of the show. You're listening to Jordan and Fitz on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
With all the drama surrounding All-Star Weekend 2017, somehow Kyrie Irving may be the biggest story of it all. Stephen A. Smith has reaction to Kyrie's claims at 9 Eastern Monday on Mike and Mike on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
You know you love the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
You guys want to do all fake Stugatses? Let's go. Fake Stugats excuses on the way to the free throw challenge. Just things he's going to say in the next 2 miles as he drives over there.
Hey, buddy.
I'm really sorry.
I didn't get the Centaur insurance.
A unicorn hit me in the face.
The Dan Le Batard Show, now 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNRadio.com.
Tuesday basketball on the SEC Network. Number 13 Kentucky descends on Missouri. The Wildcats are fighting for postseason position.
Every game matters, man.
Look, 3 ball. Yes!
The Tigers are looking for an upset.
He's smart. Ball fake. Loud. For a year again. Got it again.
13th ranked Kentucky versus Missouri. Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern on the SEC Network.
Monday on Mike and Mike, NBA All-Star Weekend recap with Bomani Jones, Mark Stein, and Stephen A. Smith. Plus Damian Woody joins with Booger McFarland and Jay Williams. Monday on Mike and Mike, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
This is the competition the entire world will be watching.
Are you ready for some Oscars?
The hottest movie stars go head-to-head for the gold.
And the Oscar goes to...
With performances by Justin Timberlake, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Sting, and John Legend.
I'm freaking out.
Hollywood's biggest names. Leonardo DiCaprio, Scarlett Johansson, Halle Berry, Samuel L. Jackson. Hollywood's biggest prize.
Thank you so very much.
Jimmy Kimmel hosts.
What could possibly go wrong?
The Oscars, live, Sunday, February 26th on ABC.
This one's good if it goes.
Are you kidding me?
The ACC and Big 12 tournament.
Are you kidding?
Coming in March to ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
I told him, OJ, you're breaking the laws of God.
It's the most decorated documentary of the year, winning over 45 awards, including the Directors Guild of America, the Producers Guild of America, and 4 Critics' Choice Documentary Awards for Best Documentary Feature. Critics have declared it a triumph, a landmark achievement, the #1 documentary of the year, and now it's an Academy Award nominee. OJ, Made in America. Available in its entirety on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN.
The Low Post Podcast with Zach Lowe.
What up, Beck? What up, Lowe? How worried are you about the Cavs?
If Kevin Love and J.R. Smith are back and healthy and playing on like April 1st, and they got a couple weeks to get everybody back in rhythm, and as long as you get to that point without LeBron having exhausted himself, I don't worry about the Cavs being a 4 seed or even a 5 seed. If they're whole on the day that the playoffs start, I think they're fine.
Subscribe or listen to the Low Post podcast in the Listen tab of the ESPN app.
Don't believe me, just watch.
Jordan and Fitz on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Presented by Progressive Insurance. All callers via the Shell Pennzoil Performance line. I'm Jason Fitz. He's Jordan Rogers. We're trying to fix All-Star Weekend, okay? So it's time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best network, half the cost. We're going to fix it. Straight Talk right here. I've got a solution, Jordan. You ready for this?
Fix it, Fitzy. Let's go.
So we have the fans vote on 16 guys, 16 All-Stars that they want represented. All 16 of them are then entered into a round-robin one-on-one tournament, winner take all of the whole tournament for $1 million. That
just 16 though?
Just 16. Just 16. I mean, that's also, if you limit it to 16, think about one of my big beefs about the All-Star game and sort of the way it got put together was the lack of players investing their own time and energy in voting. They fought for the right to have a say in the voting process, and when they collectively bargained the right to have a say in voting for the All-Star game, and then they didn't, essentially. So all of a sudden, if players know that there's $1 million prize at stake, they're going to take that vote more seriously. They're going to take the regular season more seriously because they want in on the one-on-one tournament that could get them $1 million. And then you got 16 guys. I mean, if I could have had Russell Westbrook versus Kevin Durant one-on-one for $1 million, now we're winning. Now we're winning big time. You'd watch that, right?
Yeah, but here's my problem with that. You're going to have Anthony Davis playing Isaiah Thomas?
That'd be fun. I
mean, it would, but those two guys are just in different categories. You talk about going on the playground. You know, when I was a 3rd, 4th grader and I thought I could ball, yeah, I wanted to go play the 6th and 7th graders, but come on, they're just going to back me down and take me to the post all day. Is that the game we want to see? We go into 11 by 1s and 2s?
Yeah, oh no, it's straight up playground too. Like, you call your own fouls, there's no ref. Like, we'd find out so much in that moment about these guys as players, like, because who's going to have, let's face it, when you're playing and you know you're obviously better, playground rules, right? You know you're the better guy. You never call a foul. It doesn't matter what could happen. You could get just tackled by somebody.
You're never calling a foul.
You never call a foul.
I bet you're hacking. You're hack-a-shack out there.
No,
Fitz,
I'm the one that the entire time I am like screaming. Anytime I miss the shot, I'm like, you pushed me, foul. Especially like if I'm the lesser of the two players, I'm going to call foul every single time. So that we'll find out a lot. We will find out a lot about that. I'm going to interrupt us. We actually have breaking news. We were breaking you huge NBA news. Obviously, the All-Star game always seems to bring these conversations. Sacramento has agreed to trade DeMarcus Cousins to the New Orleans Pelicans. So that is that's according to Adrian Wojciechowski of The Vertical. It looks like that is a done deal. Sacramento trading DeMarcus Cousins to the New Orleans Pelicans. That looks like that.
I think that's what he wanted. I'm a Northern California boy, so I got nothing but love for Sacramento, but you're not going to win a championship there. I'm not saying that he's going to be better set up right now to do it.
I hate the move. I genuinely don't like that trade at all, and I'll tell you why. Because to me, right now, does that make the Pelicans a championship contender? I don't think it does, obviously. So if it doesn't make them a championship contender, why do it now? I mean, there's sort of this slow burn process, right? In the NBA, you're either a have or a have not, and there's not a lot of middle ground. If it's not making the Pelicans the best team in the NBA, why trade anything that you're moving forward to try and build when it's not going to get you the big? It's not going to get you where you want.
Well, Boogie's a guy that 3 nights out of the week you can build a team around him. I think it's consistency that he's really lacking at times. The talent is there. Saw him shooting a bunch behind the arc tonight. Fitzy, let me get back to this real quick because I like where you went with trying to fix the All-Star game, one-on-one, let's go playground style, 1s and 2s to 11, get the big man against the small man, whatever it is, let's get hearts out on the court and let them decide it. But let me take it one more step.
Okay.
Because I think there's a reason that people enjoy All-Star games, no matter the sport. Basketball is a very individualistic sport. You root for players. Like I mentioned, they get to shoot contracts. But the allure of the All-Star game is the best playing with the best. The reason we love watching the Warriors is because you have a few of the best players in the entire league playing on the same team. The reason the Heat were so big for a long time is because the big three. Not just one superstar, but three. So people want to see the best playing with the best. So why not go 2-on-2? You can draft your own teams. Maybe we draft the top 8 guys, 1 to 8, and they get to pick who they're playing with. Now you got 2 guys playing together. You got 2 superstars playing together against 2 superstars. Now you take out of the equation the pure the physicality or the physical prowess of maybe an Anthony Davis over an Isaiah Thomas. I'm not saying Thomas couldn't take him to the hole or hit a couple threes and come back, but Davis is probably winning that one. So you take that out. You take that out of the equation. Now you got 2-on-2. You still have the competitive nature, and I think what it does here is I think these guys are now forced to play defense because now there's a spotlight. When it's 5-on-5, you know what? You can lag and I didn't get my help, man. He didn't lack off and get my help in the paint, whatever it is. But you got 2-on-2. You better bow up and play. So I like the idea of pairing superstars up. You still get guys that you're not used to seeing play together. You still get a different product, and I think a more competitive product now that the spotlight is more on your offense and defense. And I think the game will rise, and you're also getting almost a wrinkle to the game that people are used to seeing. Kids grow up playing 1-on-1, 2-on-2 out on the playground. I think that will attract a crowd that is looking for a competitive environment, but not losing the fact that they want to see some of these guys play together that they never get to see on the court at the same time or playing on the same team at the same time.
I love it. I mean, I think 2-on-2 is interesting. It's almost like the NBA Jam thing. It's like I feel like it's harkening back to the video game era of it. It'd be interesting to see 2-on-2, but then why stop? I mean, at some point, how do you work that? Does it go 2-on-2, or do you build it to 3-on-3? I mean, you could go anywhere with it. I understand what you're saying, though. I mean, I like the idea of big man, little man. 2-on-2 gives you the opportunity for everybody to sort of come together in that setting. It'd be interesting to see if that would create, and I would even move it out of the arena. I mean, I'd move it out to the playground. I think it'd be fantastic if it was sort of on blacktop, like the way so many kids grow up playing basketball. Like if it had sort of a street feel to it. I mean, I think they could turn it into a spectacle, and ultimately the spectacle is sort of what they need right now. I mean, that's what the NBA needs from this All-Star game to make it relevant. They need some sort of spectacle around it that keeps people focused on what the best parts of All-Star Weekend are, at the same time giving them something that engages them and makes people, because that's the other part of this. Like, what about this All-Star game and this All-Star Weekend is making people tomorrow come in and say, you know what I really have to do? I have to watch the rest of the NBA season. That could do it, whereas I don't think this weekend did.
I agree. But the biggest issue here, I think, is the reason that these games are never going to be fixed. And I love our idea, and I don't know how we can lobby for this, but we should try whatever we can do to lobby for something like that to get the NBA to move in a direction of bringing more competitiveness, a wrinkle to the game, a spectacle that is not just watching these guys play a pickup game that is completely meaningless, where you see some athleticism but no defense. That's not the product we want to see. But the problem inherently is that these are professionals. This is not a high school all-star game. This is not a college all-star game where there is a next step. These are men getting paid, men that are doing either a job or a passion for a livelihood. And there's no paycheck on the line. There's no championship they can win. There's no bragging rights that they want out of that all-star game more than they want a championship or a win for their team. And you always have the risk, even though it is much diminished in basketball, as opposed to, I think that is the main reason the product for the Pro Bowl is what it is, because of the risk of injury. But even with basketball, I don't think you can incentivize these men that are professionals enough to raise the level of competitiveness. And even you put money on the line, that's just making the rich richer. Do you want to give the money to a charity? Maybe. That could be an answer there. But is that really going to change that they don't need to be competitive that night?
Coming up next, we got all the details on this Pelicans trade. It has happened. Straight Talk Wireless, nationwide.
Are you looking for senior care for your mom or dad but don't know where to start? Hi, I'm Joan London with The Place for Mom. Nobody knows your parent or loved one better than you, and nobody knows senior living better than the experts at A Place for Mom. They've helped thousands of families find the right place for their mom or dad.
I was so glad that I called A Place for Mom. My advisor really listened and was truly my partner in finding senior care for my dad. She went out of her way to get to know him as a person and was always there whenever I had a question.
The senior living advisors at A Place for Mom partner with thousands of families every month, listening and offering local knowledge and advice to help find the best senior living communities across the country. And it's a free service. Here's the number.
Call A Place for Mom at 1-800-471-4351.
There's a place for answers, a place for mom. Call today.
Call A Place for Mom at 1-800-471-4351. That's 1-800-471-4351.
It's always time for the right time.
The Warriors are just way better than the Thunder. That's why Kevin Durant plays for them now. Every time Durant plays against them, he just has to look at himself and be like, man, I made the right decision. Like, at no point at all should Kevin Durant, go back there and be like, man, I probably should have stayed. Nah, bro, you made the right decision.
The Right Time with Bomani Jones. Weekdays from 4 to 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio or on the ESPN app. Bomani.
This is Daryl from Columbus, previously from the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Phyllis.
Hairball, don't you be actor Paul, and don't you dare come down on the University of Alabama. He thinks he's better than everybody else. You're not one iota better than anybody else in the country, especially Alabama, so keep your mouth shut. Roll Tide, roll!
The Paul Feinbaum Show, available on demand on the ESPN app.
NBA Saturday Primetime on ABC. Dwayne Wade and LeBron James share the court again.
Turn down for romance.
LeBron bringing the house down early.
Turn down for what?
Wade electrifying the crowd.
The two former teammates square off in Cleveland. NBA Saturday Primetime. Bulls, Cavs, Saturday at 8:30 Eastern on ABC.
Turn down for what?
This week in sports history, February 20th, 1996. The Utah Jazz's John Stockton became the NBA's all-time leader in steals with 2,311. Celebrating 25 years of ESPN Radio.
I told him, OJ, you're breaking the laws of God.
It's the most decorated documentary of the year, winning over 45 awards, including the Directors Guild of America, the Producers Guild of America, and 4 Critics' Choice Documentary Awards for Best Documentary Feature. Critics have declared it a triumph, a landmark achievement, the #1 documentary of the year, and now it's an Academy Award nominee. OJ, Made in America, available in its entirety on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN.
ESPN Radio honors Black History Month. Go to theundefeated.com for The Undefeated 44, a collection of dreamers, geniuses, innovators, and record breakers. This is not a list of the greatest African Americans of all time. It's simply The Undefeated 44.
I still have a dream. I stand here today humbled by the task before us.
In the great tradition of African American culture.
For more stories on Black history, go to theundefeated.com. The Undefeated. Not conventional, never boring.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm John Brickley at this hour on SportsCenter with the NBA trade deadline coming up on Thursday. The Pelicans have made the first key splash acquiring DeMarcus Cousins from the Kings, according to ESPN's Mark Stein. Sources say New Orleans will send Buddy Hield along with Tyreek Evans, Langston Galloway, and a future first and second round pick to Sacramento. Cousins' agent, though, telling ESPN Sunday night that Cousins would likely decline to sign a contract extension this summer with any team that trades for him. While the NBA All-Star Game year to year always brings out the best defensive effort of the top stars in the game, who are we kidding? It looked like a casual shoot-around than an actual competitive game. Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, they kept it businesslike on the floor, while Anthony Davis hit shot after shot after shot.
Ahead to Harden. Harden off the glass. Reverse jam Davis, who's up to 52 here in his home building. He might go for 60 tonight, JB.
Okay, I can fill out my ballot now.
Mark Kestisher, John Barry on the call for ESPN Radio. Davis named the MVP, putting up a record 52 points. Also had 10 rebounds as the West wins again, this time for the third straight year. 192-182 would be the final over the East. The 374 combined points are the most in All-Star Game history. KD, he had a double-double. Westbrook finished the game with 41. Top 25 in college basketball. Wisconsin gets a double-double from Nigel Hayes. Ethan Happ had 21 in the 11-point victory over Maryland.
Jay Williams says he sees only 7 teams that can win the NCAA tournament. Who's in and who's out? Does Peter Rosenberg agree? Find out when they both join Mike and Mike Monday, starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. Jordan and Fitz with Jordan Rogers and Jason Fitz on ESPN Radio.
And on the ESPN app.
I'm Jason Fitz. He's Jordan Rogers. You're listening to Jordan and Fitz on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, presented by Progressive Insurance. Huge breaking news in the NBA. A lot of speculation going around about this for the last couple hours, and it looks like it is now official. The Pelicans have traded for DeMarcus Cousins. They've given up Buddy Hield, Tyreek Evans, Langston Galloway, 1 future first-round pick, and 1 future second-round pick. That, according to Mark Stein.
Wow.
That is a bounty, and I don't like this at all, Jordan. I mean, I do not like this at all. You are talking about the Pelicans are 11 games under 500, okay? And I realize that you want to make drastic moves. I realize you're hosting the NBA All-Star Game and everybody's got all the good feels. I realize you want to do all of these things. But you want to tell me that the Pelicans are suddenly going to compete with the Warriors because of this? Because that's it. In the NBA, either you're competing with the Warriors and the Cavs or you're not. And so I don't look at this and say how I can't see how he makes them suddenly a dynamic team worthy of being a top 2 or 3 in the conference from bringing one player over.
Well, you're talking about now a twin tower to match what Anthony Davis is able to do there in the paint. And a guy in Cousins that is really expanding his game beyond the arc. He's averaging just over 28 points a game. What he does is he brings another offensive threat, and you're 2.5 games behind Denver for the 8th seed, so you have time to make a playoff push. Here's the reason I like it, Fitzy, because this NBA landscape, I don't think it's as much of a landscape where you're building through the draft as much it is now with where the TV deals and the money is going. So you're going to build something by signing players. And in order to sign a big-name player season in and season out, you got to have a team and a squad that is attractive from a youth standpoint, from a talent standpoint. And I think they could be one more piece away from really competing. Having Davis, having Cousins, you get one more guy next season. I'm not throwing in the towel for this season yet because they are just one little piece away from still being able to make a playoff push at some point. They're not going to make any waves in the playoffs. I don't believe that. You don't believe that. But I really do believe that this landscape for the NBA, you can buy wins. with where the salary cap is going, and I think they will. And I think you have another piece that makes that an attractive landing place. So I'm okay with it.
And I get it. I get what you're saying. You're right. I think in our modern mindset of where the NBA is, it takes three, right? We always think it takes three guys and a bench, and you can suddenly, if you've got three big guys, you can suddenly make something happen. I realize this gives them 2 out of 3. I can't, in my mind, as good as the upper echelon is in the Western Conference, I don't see this bridging that gap. That's what I can't make sense. Maybe Mark Stein can help us. He explained what this trade is for the Pelicans.
Very interesting gamble by the Pelicans because Jaren Akana, Cousins' agent, also told me tonight DeMarcus Cousins is unlikely to sign an extension with anyone who trades for him before Thursday's deadline. So the Pelicans are just going ahead with the gamble by all accounts and would submit this trade for league approval tomorrow when the league reopens for business.
So they're just gambling? They're just rolling the dice? I mean, if you're a Pelicans fan right now, are you not? Is your mind not just completely blown by this?
No, he's a 26-year-old that, yes, if he's not going to sign an extension, you better hope you can hold on to him. You better hope your wallets are deep enough for him and a third. You still got to add somebody else, I think, down the road if you're going to compete. So that's the only problem here. As I just mentioned about building through free agency and signing players, because I think that's where the landscape's going with where the money in free agency is going. But if he's not going to sign an extension now, you better hope you hold on to him and have some money left over to keep adding to that roster, because you're not going to do it with those two.
I mean, I look at this and just trying to figure out what their thought process. Like, I understand where the Kings are coming from. If they don't think they're going to resign him, get whatever value you can get. But from New Orleans standpoint, I'm baffled. I'm Jason Fitz. He's Jordan Rogers. You're listening to Jordan and Fitz on ESPN Radio. Straight Talk Wireless, nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable networks. It's breaking news. If you haven't heard it, it looks like the Pelicans have traded. They are now acquiring DeMarcus Cousins, and in exchange for that, they're getting Cousins coming over from Sacramento. And in exchange for that, they're giving up Buddy Hield, Tyreek Evans, Langston Galloway, 1 future first-round pick, and 1 future second for DeMarcus Cousins. So I guess this is their statement of saying, hey, we're all in. I mean, we're all in. They're looking at this saying, this is the move that makes us relevant, and maybe that's what they need. I mean, New Orleans, they host the Houston Rockets on Thursday, first game out of the break. They got to sell out that game. You got to think that this is going to make them relevant in a city that has a lot of options for your dollar. That is part of it. Business is part of it. This is going to put butts in seats. But do you mortgage the future based on what he brings for all of the talent that I think we can agree? But you also made a huge statement earlier when you were talking about it, saying, look, Cousins gives it to you 3-4 nights a week. So you just mortgage the future on a guy you may not be able to sign that's amazing when he feels like playing. Like, if you take your fan hat off of this for your favorite team and you just look at it and you say, what are they thinking? It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work at all. I don't like this move.
Oh, and by the way, if he does give you more than 3 or 4 nights a week, if he does end up being everything that you want him to be, he's going to be in the ballpark of re-signing here eventually in the very, very short future at a 5-year deal, probably worth over $200 million. Whew. I mean, the salary cap is going in the range of these guys are going to be making $30, $40 million a season, Jason Fitz.
That's good money.
So you not only just traded away everything, the farm, to get this guy, but he's here, gonna be here. You got it. You got a 2 to your 1 in Anthony Davis, or a 1A and 1B, but he's going to be expensive. And can you get him for 4 or 5 nights a week?
And it's not like it's the NFL system, right? I mean, if there's something that the NFL, I understand you can sign people to max contracts and more money to keep your guys, but there isn't just a franchise option here. It's not like there's any sort of assurance they can force Boogie to want to stay. So you have to look at this and say, from his standpoint, he's going to go over to New Orleans. He gets to test out the waters a little bit. He gets to see how he likes New Orleans as a city. He gets to see how he likes playing with those guys. And then at the end of all of it, he still gets to pick wherever he wants to go. I mean, this for him is a no-brainer. For the Kings, it's a no-brainer. For the Pelicans, It makes no sense. ESPN Radio presented by Progressive Insurance. We'll compare rates for you so you get the best deal, even if it's not with us. Saving you time and money, that's Progressive. Call or click today. I'm Jason Fitz. He's Jordan Rogers. Jordan and Fitz on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Again, huge trade in the NBA. Boogie Cousins. I want a nickname, Jordan. I want a nickname as cool as Boogie.
How do you get a nickname Boogie? That's what I want to know. There's Booger McFarland.
Right.
That's a great one. But Boogie, where's that come from?
Is Booger really great? I don't know. Like I'm not sure.
Hey, when you look like Booger and when you have the hardware like Booger has, I don't really care what your nickname is.
Booger's got swag, right? If you have swag, naturally, you can go with Booger as a nickname, and it's totally fine. Like 5'9.5", scrawny, white kid that plays the fiddle. I'm not. No, there's a Boogie. None of those work for me.
5'8". I know it's radio and they can't see, but you're giving yourself a little bit there.
5'9.5".
Yeah, I just met the guy today. Definitely.
5'9.5". By the way, Dan Z chiming in. It got a little awkward today. I finally meet Dan Z in person, so I went in for the long hug. He did not seem to appreciate it.
Whoa. What? Brothers hug around here. I don't know. What?
Are you kidding me? I'm the only one who thought it was weird that meeting someone for the first time and having them instantly go in for a hug is strange?
Yeah. No. Yeah, you're the only one that thinks that. I mean, Jordan and I, we hugged the first time, and we still do.
And I told Fitzy the first time. I said, you have to call me Nighthawk.
Cool nickname. I don't get these things. So again, with the trade, here's my mindset. I understand getting better, and getting better makes sense. In the NBA, that's what everybody's trying to do. Getting better is the goal, to oversimplify. But the problem is, did you get so much better that you're willing to mortgage everything that you were building? And that's what doesn't make any sense to me. I want to know what you guys would have done. Coming up next, your calls. Is this a smart move by the Pelicans to acquire Boogie Cousins? What would you have mortgaged your team's future to bring him in if you were the GM of New Orleans? 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. We'll take your calls on the other side. It's Jordan and Fitz on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
This weekend in the NBA All-Star Game.
There's Westbrook from Durant on a beautiful feed. Former teammates tying, and the crowd cheers as they get together on a bucket.
Reaction Monday on Mike and Mike, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. Monday morning with Greeny and Golick. Peter Rosenberg fresh from the NBA Celebrity Game. Plus Booger McFarland and Jay Williams. It's Mike and Mike starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
NFL fans, Operations.NFL.com gives you an exclusive behind-the-scenes look inside NFL Game Day. We cover the players, the officials, and all of the details that go into bringing you America's favorite sport. Not just on game day, but every day. With features like a searchable NFL rulebook, Stats Central, the You Make the Call Interactive, and the Video Rulebook. Operations.NFL.com brings the NFL to life. Go to Operations.NFL.com today.
Hi, can I have 2 steak tacos?
Flour or corn?
Oh, no tortillas. And no steak. Also add turkey, lettuce, and tomato. And just put it between 2 slices of bread.
You know this is a taco truck, right?
As a small business owner, you've got enough to deal with. Let the experts at Progressive insure your business so you can focus on whatever that was. With over 30 commercial, auto, and business coverage options, we'll build a plan that's right for you.
Oh, I'll have Swiss on that, too. Thank you.
Visit ProgressiveCommercial.com to get started. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This just in, Wendy's is adding the quarter-pound double stack as an option in the 4 for $4 for a limited time. With so much beef, that's a deal so good it should not exist. In related news, howler monkeys should not be able to be heard from 3 miles away. Here to comment, a howler monkey.
Wow! That sounds like a really good deal!
Indeed. That's over a quarter pound of fresh beef with 4 nuggets, fries, and a Coke, all for just $4. Anything else, howler monkey?
I'm not allowed in libraries!
At participating Wendy's for a limited time. Meal includes 4-piece nuggets, small fries, and drink. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada. Not valid in Alaska and Hawaii.
When you come to Applebee's for an all-in burger with fries and a bottomless Pepsi for just $9.99, you also get a shot at great instant win prizes. Sink your teeth into that. No purchase necessary. Open to legal 50 U.S. 18+. See rules at allintowinsweeps.com.
Check out my latest find, a Babe Ruth autographed baseball I bought from University Archives. Okay, I'm on universityarchives.com. Abraham Lincoln, Muhammad Ali, Marilyn Monroe, Einstein, a book signed by the first 40 Super Bowl MVPs. These are unbelievable.
Own a museum-quality piece of America's history, from signed rare books and letters to other personal possessions of the most iconic figures of past and present. Go to universityarchives.com, where you can bid on truly remarkable collectibles.
Jay Williams says he sees only 7 teams that can win the NCAA tournament. Who's in and who's out? Does Peter Rosenberg agree? Find out when they both join Mike and Mike Monday, starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
ESPN Radio honors Black History Month. Willie O'Ree is often called the Jackie Robinson of hockey. Learn how O'Ree, who made his NHL debut on January 18, 1958, with the Boston Bruins, was able to play despite being legally blind in his right eye.
I didn't realize at the time that I had broken barriers and opened doors. It wasn't until I read it in the paper.
His story and more on ESPN's TheUndefeated.com. The Undefeated. Not conventional, never boring.
This one's good if it goes. Oh, goodness. Hell. Are you kidding me?
The ACC and Big 12 tournament.
Are you kidding?
Coming in March to ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Wherever you are, we are. Your radio, your phone, your computer. This is ESPN Radio.
You know you love the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Do I have to choose right now?
Yes.
I want to think this out a little bit.
I want to do what's best for the show.
You are a staller, a procrastinator. You don't finish anything. Man, it's like trying to have sex with a damn rattlesnake. It's just impossible to pin him down. Why do I know what that's like?
The Dan Le Batard Show, now 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNRadio.com.
I'm Jason Fitz. He's Jordan Rogers. You're listening to Jordan and Fitz on ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance. All callers via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. You can also get to us on the Twitters, 1-800-Flowers.com Twitter feed, at ESPN Radio, at Jason Fitz, at JRogers11. That's where we are. You can get to us on all of those places. Breaking news. We don't get to do this a lot. You don't get a lot of breaking news stories on the Sunday night show when you're on the air. It's at midnight. So this is kind of a special one for us. Breaking news, big trade in the NBA. The Pelicans are sending Buddy Hield, Tyreek Evans, Langston Galloway, 1 future first-round pick and 1 future second-round pick for DeMarcus Cousins from the Kings coming over, and that's Mark Stein reporting that. It's kind of all over the place at this point. It looks like it's a done deal, and it's a mega trade. So we don't get these often. So we wanted to get your thoughts on it and what you guys think. Your calls are on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. We are brought to you by Pennzoil Synthetics, taking synthetic motor oil performance to a whole new level. Make the switch to Pennzoil Synthetics today. Let's start with Josh on 97.5 ESPN in Houston. Josh, what do you got, man?
Hey, thanks for having my call, guys. I think it's a loaded question. First of all, do I think that the Pelicans, with what they had with Tyreek Evans and Buddy Hield, were they about to turn the corner and go win a championship? No. And I think they looked around and they said exactly what you guys are saying. You have to win with more than one superstar in this league. So if we get Boogie, can we talk him into that he hated where he was at in Sacramento? He hated that situation. So now you're here with another superstar, and maybe not this year. And I know you're saying you're not going to re-sign now, but maybe he gets along with Anthony Davis really well. And I think also, this is the first time that we've seen in a very long time, maybe David Robinson and Tim Duncan, but that we've seen people in their respective positions. I can't think of 2 better centers in the league. They're definitely 1 and 2 when it comes to true centers. So I don't know how this is going to work in today's league. Today's league is all about taking threes and fast breaks and things like that. But maybe they'll slow things down. Maybe you'll try to do that against the Pelicans and you just can't because those two guys are in the paint, and you have to do something about that. You can't run if you're Golden State, for instance, and you run and Draymond has to cover one of those guys. That's tough. That's tough for even him. I don't know if he can do it, and I don't know if a lot of these teams that are really, really good have a big man to stop that two-headed monster. So,
Josh, man, thanks for the call, man. I think you're right. It is interesting to me, Jordan, when I think about that, too, what he just said. It could be sort of like the counter offense, right? You're doing what nobody else is doing. Maybe that's the big competitive advantage, which comes back to what you were saying earlier about having a couple of big guys, and maybe that is the strength in the argument. I still don't know that it makes you better right away. Brian on 93.7 in Boston. Brian, what do you got, man?
What's going on, boys? Hey, first of all, hugs and hand pounds all the way. You meet somebody, you like them, you get a little connection, bring it in for a hug, pal.
That's attaboy. I'm with that. Thanks, Brian.
Hey, I appreciate that Danny Ainge up here wants to keep these draft picks, man. But at some point, when are you going to improve the team? The Celtics can't rebound to save their lives, and I can't take many more games of Al Horford bringing me 4 points and 2 rebounds and saying, well, he likes to run, and come on. You could have given up Avery Bradley, you give up Jaylen Brown, and you give up, if you got to give up the Nets pick this year, that's fine. You got to give it up next year, even better. But come on, this guy's averaging 28, 10, and 5. You think any draft pick this year coming out is going to average that? Because I'm watching Markelle Fultz, and I think, he's a nice little player, but he looks kind of like an Isaiah Thomas clone, and if you can give that up, and you get a guy that's going to give you the one thing you need, which is rebounds, you give it up. So I'm mad as a Celtics fan tonight, and I would have loved to get Cousins on my team. Brian,
man, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Jordan, I love that Celtics fans angry. They're sitting in first place in their division, still angry.
Right? You start to get selfish at some point. You start to get a little greedy. But, here's my thing back to the Cousins landing with the Pelicans. The Pelicans fans have been very critical of Dell Demps and his inability to surround Anthony Davis with players. And that's what we're talking about right now. This is, you choose. You're on one side of the ball or you're on the other side. You're either going to build through the draft and try to surround your star player with somebody, or you're going to acquire through free agency, through trades, and build that way and spend money. And I think that's what Demps has decided to do. He's been driven to that direction. You have the platform of having the All-Star game in your hometown. You're getting some momentum. We got to talk about the marketing aspect of this as well. This is a business decision. You're getting another maybe top 5, maybe top 10 NBA player in DeMarcus Cousins' talent, young talent, onto your floor, and you're going to fill those seats a little bit more. Now, the things they have to do, they were able, what I do like about this, they were able to hold on to Drew Holiday. They were able to hold on to their wing in Moore. But they have to put pieces around. They have to have a shooter. They have to have another guy. It's a good way of putting it. They have some role players that they were able to hold on to. They're not going to be able to draft very much. They're going to have to re-sign Cousins at some point. But you talk about like what Cleveland was able to do in signing a veteran shooter like Korver. That would have been a great one. And maybe that experiment will be done in Cleveland after this year. Who knows what LeBron James wants to dictate that team to do. But they're going to have to sign somebody to score from the perimeter. But I do love the ability to now create matchup problems with the size and athleticism of both Anthony Davis and Cousins as well down there. So I like it. I do.
Well, Brian, since Brian liked the hug, we'll give him sort of a hug here on the radio. Chris Forsberg, our ESPN Celtics reporter, had some words to make Brian feel better about the Celtics not trading for Boogie. He joined ESPN Radio last night. This is what he had to say.
When the Cavs want to turn it on, if they get healthy, if LeBron is the cyborg that we know he is and avoids injury, it's going to be really difficult to get past them in the Eastern Conference Finals or wherever they might be lucky enough to see them. And so if they're not confident that they have a legitimate chance to win this year, why not be patient, keep that pick, get to this summer, you make that pick, and maybe you're lucky enough for it to be the number 1 pick, and then you have still the flexibility to go out in this free agent market and chase another superstar talent. Add that maybe third piece that complete your big 3 with Al Horford and Isaiah Thomas, and get another talent this summer.
I mean, I love the fact that we're all seeing this the same way. That's important. Makes me feel good anyway. Hopefully that makes Brian feel a little better. BJ on 97.5 in Houston. BJ, what do you got, man?
It's DJ. It's all right, though, man. As a Pelicans fan, I'm excited because, now we have two of the best big men in the league. Now, just like you guys said, we need to go get some shooters. And I feel like if AD can convince, just like AD said, over this weekend, he wants to stay long term. He wants to bring another championship to the city, just like my Saints, just like it was 2010. But, hey, it doesn't matter. We still got it. He wants to win. So by them bringing him in, it shows me that they want to improve. Now we got to go get a shooter. We got 2 shooters, 3. We need to get some more people around that can actually move the ball. But I'm very excited. I don't think there's going to be any big man in the league that can come close to that. The only person I think can really stop us, or we'll have a problem with, is maybe Memphis and maybe the Clippers. But Blake is out, so I'm very happy, and I want to see what they're going to do.
DJ, thanks for the call, man, and I appreciate your joy. I just I don't know that it's not as simple as just find a shooter. It's not like they grow on trees. It's not like you can just add those shooters. And when you gave up a first and second round draft pick, it makes it even harder to address some of those issues. Coming up next, more of your calls, thoughts on the Boogie Cousins trade to the Pelicans. 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. Your calls on the breaking news in the NBA tonight as the Kings trade DeMarcus Cousins to the Pelicans. It's Jordan and Fitz on ESPN Radio and the ESPN.
There is more to me, Queen Eliara of Elfgard, than my elven magic. Just as there's more to Geico than saving you money, Geico also gives you 24/7 access to licensed agents online, on the phone, or on the Geico app. And while I am a mighty elf queen, I am also a mighty big fan of barbecue potato chips. Minions! More smoky mesquite.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
ESPN. Supported by Blue Apron. Blue Apron partners with sustainable farms, fisheries, and ranchers to bring you all the ingredients you need to create incredible home-cooked meals. Ingredients come paired with an easy-to-follow recipe card delivered to your door weekly in a refrigerated box. Rediscover how fun cooking can be while enjoying specialty ingredients and exploring new flavors and cuisines. Get your first 3 Blue Apron meals free plus free shipping by visiting blueapron.com/ESPN.
Monday on Mike and Mike, KD and Russ teammates once again. LeBron denies rivalry with Steph and all the latest from NBA All-Star Weekend 2017. Full recap with Stephen A. and Bomani Jones. Plus the Pistons, Pelicans, and Kings rumored to be making trades as the Thursday deadline approaches. Don't miss it when Mark Stein joins us with all the latest moves. Plus Damian Woody, Peter Rosenberg, and Booger McFarland join. It's Mike and Mike Monday, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
ESPN Radio honors Black History Month. How did the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters, known for their fun-loving and entertaining style of basketball showmanship, deal with racism off the court from their inception in 1927 through the civil rights era of the 60s?
In our 90 years, we have played on 6 continents, 122 countries and territories. We've been all over the world, putting smiles on kids' faces.
Their story on ESPN's TheUndefeated.com. The Undefeated. Not conventional, never boring.
This week in sports history, February 19th, 1996. Charles Barkley pulls down his 10,000th career rebound in the Suns' win over Vancouver, becoming the 10th NBA player with 20,000 points and 10,000 rebounds in a career. NBC Sports.
And Barkley able to come up with a rebound. How does he do it?
Celebrating 25 years of ESPN Radio. Thursday. The NBA trade deadline inches closer. Who's loading up and who's unloading? Hear it here first. ESPN Radio. Mike and Mike.
Superstars want their turn with the ball. Was Russell Westbrook taking that away from Kevin Durant? He was, but the thing about it is Russell Westbrook's a star as well.
That's what I mean. In the NBA right now, in order to win, you can't have just one star.
No, you cannot.
Because look at the teams that have just one star. They have no chance of winning.
I'm saying I didn't have an issue with it, but you're asking me if Kevin Durant had an issue with it. Maybe he did. And as we found out, it seems their relationship wasn't as close as we thought.
Mike and Mike on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
You know you love the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
You guys want to do all fake Stugatses? Let's go. Fake Stugats excuses on the way to the free throw challenge. Just things he's going to say in the next 2 miles as he drives over there.
Hey, buddy.
I'm really sorry.
I didn't get the Centaur insurance.
Our unicorn hit me in the face.
The Dan Le Batard Show, now 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNRadio.com.
Russillo and Cannell.
I like Draymond a lot. I just think he's incredibly wrong here. Dolan is an owner. He is an owner of a franchise, not an owner of a person. So he can be wrong. None of us can like him, but he can also just be doing something to Oakley that's wrong just because he doesn't like the guy. Am I so naive to think we could still maybe have things in present day that are just about one guy not liking someone else and not making it about a historical event?
Russillo and Cannell on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm John Brickley with the NBA All-Star Game held in New Orleans. DeMarcus Cousins, playing for the West, figured it was a mini vacation to the Big Easy, but he'll save the airfare at least, as according to ESPN's Mark Stein, the Pelicans acquired Cousins from the Kings Sunday. Sources say the deal involved New Orleans trading Buddy Hield, Tyreek Evans, Langston Galloway, along with a future first and second round pick to Sacramento. Here's ESPN's Mark Stein with more.
Obviously for the Pelicans, this is a coup to be able to pull this off, because DeMarcus Cousins, you put him in that same group with Jimmy Butler, Paul George, Carmelo Anthony, guys that we've been talking a lot, but that we didn't expect would actually move before the trade deadline. So for New Orleans to get Sacramento to change its position so quickly, for sure locally, this is going to be seen as a huge coup for the Pelicans.
However, Cousins' agent telling ESPN that Cousins would likely decline to sign a contract extension this summer with any team that trades for him. Sources adding that the Pelicans were close on a deal for Jahlil Okafor just about 10 days ago. While the Pelicans add a star, the hometown fans saw their face of the franchise shine in Sunday's All-Star Game, heard here on ESPN Radio. Anthony Davis dropping down a record 52 points, added 10 rebounds in the victory for the West. 192-182 the final over the East, as Davis named the MVP of the midseason showcase. The previous record held by Will Chamberlain of 42. Did that in the 62 All-Star Game. Kevin Durant added a double-double, while Russell Westbrook posting up 41 in the victory for the West.
Monday on Mike and Mike, NBA All-Star Weekend Recap with Bomani Jones, Mark Stein, and Stephen A. Smith. Plus, Damian Woody joins with Booger McFarland and Jay Williams. Monday on Mike and Mike, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
I'm Jason Fitz. He's Jordan Rogers. You're listening to Jordan and Fitz on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance, creators of the Name Your Price tool. Choose from a range of coverage options and pick the price that works for you. All callers via the Shell Pennzoil Performance line also. And we're also out there on Twitter. 1-800-Flowers.com. Twitter feed is at ESPN Radio, at Jason Fitz, at J Rogers 11. You can get to us there. The discussion is raging because there's huge breaking news in the NBA. If you're just joining us, Buddy Hield, Tyreek Evans, Langston Galloway, one future first-round pick and one future second-round pick. That's the bounty that the Pelicans have given up to Sacramento in exchange for Boogie Cousins. So the Pelicans have sort of mortgaged to get a guy, and now they'll have size. There's no doubt about it. They will have size. I think we all agree, and a lot of you guys on Twitter agree, that they've got to figure out a shooter. I'm not sure that I think it's that easy, but that's we're getting your thoughts. Do you love the trade? Do you hate the trade? Would you have made the trade? 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. Jordan, has anyone changed your mind yet? Are you still squarely in the same court on this?
No, you know what? One thing that, as you dive deeper into this, one thing you can appreciate, is all the pieces in place now? No, not at all. And are they still sitting at 11th, a few games back from 8th, and still a long shot or needing a strong finish to push for a playoff? Absolutely. But it does fix one fundamental problem and one of their biggest glaring weaknesses, which is rebounds. Second to worst, really, in the NBA in rebound differential. And come from a football guy, I relate that to getting off the field on third down. You're talking about good teams, good defenses, leading to good offenses. You have more opportunities. You get off the field on third down. You get rebounds in basketball. And DeMarcus Cousins averaging 10.6 rebounds a game, almost top 10 in the league, sitting at 11th in rebounds. You bring an instant fix to something that team needs. And I know that there is a huge gamble in what's going to happen with. Are they going to be able to win right away? Who knows? May it take a little bit of time for Anthony Davis and Cousins to mesh? Absolutely. Are they going to need to get more shooters or a third guy to put it? Yeah, absolutely. But they're fixing a problem, and they're fixing it right now. And I know they mortgaged, but this is a what have you done for me now kind of business, and a business where you can spend money. And they're going to need to spend more money on Cousins and another piece, but they are fixing a problem right now. So yeah, I'm warming up to it, Fitzy.
I think you make a great point, and the All-Star game having just been in New Orleans, obviously they had to have some sort of a temperature on him. The reports have been he's not committing to re-sign anywhere until he sees what his options are. So
why would he?
Why would he? If that's good
with
business.
The money out there?
That's good business. But it does put them a little ahead going into free agency in the offseason. If they can keep him, it makes it intriguing. Chris, listening on ESPN 710 in L.A. Chris, what do you got, my friend?
I am a pissed-off Lakers fan because not only did Jim Buss and Mitch Kupchak strike out again, I'm reading reports that they were going down to the wire on Cousins, and they could not get creative enough to make it happen. And they're saying that Ingram, Kings wanted Ingram, and Mitch said no on that. And I'm with that. But get creative and do something. This is the one guy that we had to have that would fix all our problems and help the Lakers turn a corner, and they could not pull the trigger yet again. And it solidifies the Lakers' problems. And I hope Magic Johnson takes over and takes it away from these guys.
Whoa.
Now we have to watch.
Chris, you're killing me, man. Thanks for the call. And I'm a Lakers fan. I'm not even. Will never apologize to that. I grew up a Lakers fan. But why are we suddenly? First of all, the Lakers are 19-39 right now, and I don't care who you put on that team. It's not suddenly making them. I can't sit here and question the Pelicans' motivation because they're not a playoff team with Boogie Cousins, and then not do the same to the Lakers. I mean, you could add Boogie a couple of times to that team, and it won't make them a playoff team. And I'm not going to look at Magic Johnson and say that he's the savior of a franchise when that's the same argument Phil Jackson was being given by the Knicks. And we've seen how that works. I mean, you don't just get to – just because Magic was Magic for the Lakers doesn't mean Magic's going to run this team well. I mean, anybody rooting for that just needs to look at what's happened in New York and the cluster that Phil Jackson has turned the Knicks into. I mean, I do love that we got some breaking insider news there, but I don't think that the Lakers are a good fit for this either because there are so many pieces that need to be put in place there. If you're making a trade and you're leveraging draft picks, that's a part of this that really kills me. If you're leveraging draft picks, then you're saying this is the guy that's going to turn us around. I don't think he's that. John, ESPN 1660 in Texas. John, what do you got, man?
Same thing you've been harping on. I can't see leveraging the future of your franchise for a guy that has said 100 times, I'm not staying with somebody that trades for me. It doesn't make any sense, not to mention the guy's a little off. And who knows what he's going to be like in your locker room.
John, thanks for the call, man. I don't disagree with that. Jordan, you made the point earlier, when he's on, he's dominant. And you know, you talk about rebounding. Rebounding in and of itself is one of the most effort-driven skills, I think, in the NBA, right? It's you can be good at all of the parts of it, but you've got to have a certain work ethic to be a great rebounder. If there's any one thing we question about Cousins, is the ability to bring that work ethic every single night, right?
And back to our Lakers caller, bless his heart, that's ludicrous. You are not going to bring in Cousins and expect him to pair up with Luol Deng and Jordan Clarkson, Brandon Ingram, and turn this thing around. He was on the Kings for 7 seasons. They had 0 winning seasons and 0 playoff appearances. You know what you're getting in Boogie Cousins. He is an unbelievable talent, but he is not carrying a team on his back. Not the Kings, not the Lakers. No team is he carrying on his back. He needs somebody, and Anthony Davis is that person. So the Lakers fans, if you guys are sour or saying you missed out or we need Magic. No. You need some players. You need somebody to build around, and that's not Cousins. He's not that type of player. He's not going to carry a team because of that thing we're talking about, which is that X factor, that work ethic, integrity, sports integrity. I don't know what you want to call it, but you can't count on the guy every single minute of every game. And maybe and hopefully Anthony Davis and pairing him up with this team maybe re-energizes him. And I don't mean to talk down on him. He's an incredible talent. He needs a little help. And the Pelicans needed help. The Pelicans not only needed help now with fixing the rebound problem and building something here, but they needed to create an attractive environment for free agency. If they can hang on to Cousins, if they can create an environment with young, talented players, they can build something. That's why I'm a fan of it. But Lakers, come on. No, not going to happen.
I think for everything that the Pelicans gave up in this, they should get some flowers in return. It's always in season. Surprising a friend or loved one with a bouquet from 1-800-Flowers.com. 1-800-Flowers has amazing offers on bouquets starting at just $29.99. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN. So ESPN NBA insider Ramona Shelburne, she talked a little bit about why the Pelicans think they can keep Boogie beyond this year. This is what she had to say.
They're very confident that they can re-sign Boogie Cousins as a free agent this summer, that they would not have gone this far with this trade if they didn't have some assurances or at least some confidence that he would re-sign in New Orleans. He's from nearby Mobile, Alabama. They think that he's going to like playing with Anthony Davis and playing for Coach Alvin Gentry.
I mean, that all makes sense. Again, there has to be something to this trade going down right after the All-Star game was in New Orleans, right? They had to get a sense for him there. You got to feel like that happened, right?
Yeah, you got to sit down in front of the guy. You got to see him. You got to talk to him. July 1st is going to creep up on free agency in the NBA. That's coming. That date is coming. You're going to have to prepare for that. And I do believe that Cousins is the right candidate for needing a change of scenery. And I think that's what you have here. I am on the side right now of thinking that they do have a real possibility of re-signing him. If they can get some momentum and create some cohesiveness between Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins, I think that can create an environment for Cousins to come back and to attract that third that we've been talking about.
Warren listening on 101 ESPN in St. Louis. Warren, what do you got?
This, I believe, is a good pick for DeMarcus Cousins. And you guys keep missing that third pick, that third guy. That third guy is the point guard, Drew Holiday. Look at his stats. I believe his last 15 games, he put up double-doubles. Come on. And if you spread the ball out on the wing, either way, whoever gets the ball is going to be productive. And I'm not sure who's in the 8 through 10, but I guarantee they can get to that 8 spot and play Golden State in the playoffs.
Well, and thanks for the call, Warren, man. And that's obviously what they got to be thinking. Also, you have to respect any organization. Maybe you guys are bringing me around on this. I don't know. You have to respect an organization that's willing to bank on themselves. I do think that there's a little element of you feel like from ownership standpoint, the Pelicans are saying, hey, this is going to put butts in seats. It's going to give us a head start on bringing Boogie, and it's going to give us a chance to show him our culture, to live with these guys in this locker room, to see how awesome our city is, like all of the things that that a franchise feels like they have. And maybe they feel like this is the piece, but this is a team currently sitting at 23-34. I mean, I have a hard time believing the Warriors sitting at 47-9. So, yes, you get into the playoffs as the 8th seed and you take on the Warriors, but the bridge is not totally built here. This doesn't bridge that gap. There is going to have to be some sort of upgrade. My fear is still I'm going to keep harping on the draft picks. I mean, my fear is that it doesn't make them good enough to compete long-term on what they're trying to build. Coming up, we're going to put a bow on NBA All-Star Weekend. We'll give you our final thoughts on Boogie Cousins to New Orleans. Big night. We don't get to break a lot of news. We've been doing it. We'll continue to look at it. Jordan and Fitz on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Glenn Robinson III goes big in the dunk contest. Kristaps Porzingis handles the skills competition, and Eric Gordon goes off beyond the arc. Bomani Jones and Mark Stein recap NBA All-Star Weekend Monday on Mike and Mike, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN.
Do you want to hear Ike and MJD talk about their top touchdown celebrations of the week?
It's about uplifting folks.
Do you want your daily fix of NFL fantasy news with Fantasy Live?
And I wouldn't draft a quarterback until at least the 5th round.
That's NFL Now. It's your one-stop shop for live videos, trending news, and behind-the-scenes access to your favorite team. Touchdown! Check it out on your smartphone, tablet, or select connected TV devices. Go to NFL.com/now or watch it on the NFL mobile app today.
Always introduce yourself to new roads with a firm grip. Take on any season with Firestone FR710 all-season tires. Now 10% off at Firestone. Complete auto care. Whatever you drive a Firestone.
Offer valid February 1st through the 28th. Sale price reflected at point of sale. Select sizes and tire lines. In-store installation required. Not to be combined with any other offer on same product. No cash value. Offer void where prohibited. See store or drivefirestone.com for full details.
Hi, this is Lori Grenier. You've seen me on Shark Tank. Many entrepreneurs love the flexibility that comes with owning their own business. Kabbage offers a line of credit of up to $100,000 with the flexibility small businesses need. Apply online or from your phone. You will get a decision in minutes and can use any amount you need when you need it. Kabbage has provided over $2.5 billion in funding to 90,000 small businesses and is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Go to Kabbage.com or call 888-KABBAGE. That's Kabbage with a K.
Unbelievable the attention that this World Baseball Classic was able to create.
The World Baseball Classic, March 20th through March 22nd on ESPN Radio.
I found a better way to buy travel. It's called Upside.com. I use it to save a ton of money and get an Amazon gift card worth $100, $200, even $300 free. Upside bundles my flights and hotel together for one low price, which saves so much money they gave me a free Amazon gift card. I'm a frequent business traveler, so that's thousands in free gift cards for me and lots of savings for my company. Save big on travel and get a big gift card every trip. Upside.com. That's Upside.com.
Napa know-how.
A Napa guy knows that by the foot, there's no better ride than an old station wagon. Room for 6 people facing forward, 2 people facing backward, and a whole lot of luggage, lumber, and bicycles haphazardly strapped to the roof. If you can parallel park that beast, you can park anything. And with some quality parts and a little Napa know-how, you can keep your land ship running longer, stronger. It's not obsolete. It's a rare treasure. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
Is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take
I'm Jason
and just
Fitz.
sit right there.
He's Jordan Rogers. You're listening to Jordan and Fitz on ESPN Radio. We're getting you caught up. Huge news.
That's a good one.
I should have just let Fresh Prince, what am I thinking? There's a whole generation that doesn't even realize that Will Smith was actually a rapper before he was an actor. So shout out to Will for and DJ Jazzy Jeff earlier tonight was part of the celebration before the NBA All-Star game. So you like that? You like that tie-in there. Mark Stein, again, reporting. This is the big news. We don't get a lot of breaking news. We get to break this one, or talk about it at least. Buddy Hield, Tyreek Evans, Langston Galloway, 1 future first-round pick and 1 future second-round pick. That is the treasure chest of goodies that the Pelicans handed over in exchange for Boogie Cousins tonight. That's what happened. And we've been getting your reaction, talking about the entire time. I do have to give a shout-out on the 1-800-Flowers.com Twitter feed. A fantastic tweet from D. Doflamingo says, Jimmer Fredette can shoot. Pelicans, maybe? Just because a guy scored 73 points in the Chinese league does not mean that he belongs in the NBA. Blake, I feel like that's kind of an anticlimactic headline, don't you? You go from, hey, we got Boogie, and by the way, we're bringing Jimmer in.
Jimmer coming back. In the China, I don't care where he's playing, Fitz. 73 points. The man's averaging 36. Give him some credit. The ball goes in the net.
He's only 27, so he's got some good basketball ahead of him.
Never say never. Wait. Who are we just talking about needs a shooter? Wait a minute. Jimmer, Boogie, and Davis? There it is. There's your big three. Breaking news all over again.
I want T-shirts made that say Jimmer and Boogie together forever, just because it's like the coolest name combination. Again, Jimmer and Boogie, like that just that sounds awesome. I
think we need hats that just say "Make Jimmer Great Again."
Oh man. Okay, so speaking of things that need to be made great again, I want to get your thoughts on something. So we were all obviously entranced watching the entire weekend of the NBA, and so something really bothered me this weekend. I want to see what you think. The skills competition and the dunk contest and the 3-point contest, all that stuff went down on Saturday night. And so I was sitting over at a friend's house, and there were, everything from kids to grandparents all in the room sort of watching it as it was unfolding. And the camera kept going to Harden and Curry sort of sitting front row in street clothes watching it. I think that is a terrible look for the NBA. I think when your biggest stars are sitting on the side watching, it felt to me like the 3-point contest and the dunk contest. It felt like the varsity kids, the real stars, were sitting in street clothes watching it so they could cheer on the JV guys all accomplishing it. Isn't that a bad look for the NBA?
I hate it. I think it's the worst look. That is not what the fans want to see. And I'll even take it to the dunk contest. I don't care how decrepit or diminishing hops, even though they're not really LeBron James. I want to see him in the dunk contest. I want to see Russell Westbrook in the dunk contest. I want to see Steph Curry in the 3-point contest. That's who people want to see. So yeah, I think it is a terrible look. And I don't remember last time I watched a 3-point contest for that very reason.
Well, and part of the conversation we were having last night is, look, there was an era, if you're my age, Craig Hodges, I think, was really only known for winning 3-point contests. But part of the reason that was relevant is because Craig was going up against guys like Larry Bird. So you had a mixture of the up-and-comers or the guys that maybe aren't household names mixed in with the biggest stars. And I think we're in a world where, love it or not, like it or hate it, ultimately a better dunk by a lesser name is insignificant. What we want to see, what the casual fan wants to see, are the biggest stars doing some sort of dunk, even if it's not as cool, even if he's not jumping over 16 people and riding a monster truck and having drones drop things and flying in a spaceship. No matter what he's doing, if LeBron just goes out and does a dunk, it works. That's what people want to see are the biggest names, the biggest stars, the 10 or 12 guys that rule the story of the NBA. The world wants to see those guys engaging in, even if it's a lesser product, it's a bigger story.
And that's why let's get back to how to fix this. 2-on-2, Fitzy. LeBron James, Isaiah Thomas versus Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis. Who you got?
Oh man, well, LeBron. Yeah, you always got LeBron. I still wanted a way this year to get Westbrook versus Durant 1-on-1. That was the one thing. That's where the idea sort of as the conversation started. I wanted the chance to see Durant, Westbrook. Again, I feel like we were cheated. We talked about this at the beginning. Like, I feel like it was like at elementary school, when you knew two kids were going to fight and everybody talked about it all day at school. And so you go run into the back playground and you're like, oh, we're going to watch the fight. We're going to watch the fight. And then it turns out that these two tough guys just sort of like bear hug and nothing happens. That's what I felt like happened today. Like, there wasn't even a scowl. It wasn't even like a nasty look.
But Fitzy, then who you got? Russell versus KD. 1-on-1, 2-11, 1s and 2s, calling your own fouls.
I'm going Russell all day long because he's amazing.
I don't think there is a player in the NBA that's beaten Russell Westbrook in 1-on-1. 1-on-1 is a different game. I'll tell you what, I was a decent basketball player. You don't want me in 1-on-1 because athleticism and a mentality takes over. You don't have to be the best shooter. You don't have to have the best skills. You make one move and you go to the hole. And Russell Westbrook is a freak athlete, a freak. I don't think there's anybody that can guard him, and I don't think there's any way he loses to 1-on-1. I don't care who it is.
I think there's also a motor thing. Like we've been talking about Boogie all day with the sometimes
doesn't
on,
have a motor.
sometimes right. And Russell Westbrook is that guy. When you're playing pickup and the one guy that you want him on your team and you absolutely love him when he's on your team. You hate him when you have to guard him because you know that he's just going to go too hard the entire time. That's sort of Russell Westbrook to me. So I think that there's a moment where he plays fired up. I'm not sure everybody else brings it to the same level. I think that's why, even though he may not always be the biggest, the strongest, or the most physical specimen compared to some of the other guys, I take him all day long because I can't imagine anybody out-efforting him in that process. By the way, Jordan, are we going to play one-on-one now? Is that going to happen, you and I?
You don't want that.
No, I don't.
Come
You're right.
Come
God.
on.
It's going to be so awful. And so we could go 5-on-5, and it wouldn't like 5-on-1. You'd still beat me. But again, like there's no win for you. I mean, if you
is
beat
the 5'9"
me,
and a half with shoes or without shoes?
Well, I don't want to get into it. Here's the thing: you beat me. All you did was beat a fiddle player one-on-one in basketball. There's no you get no credit for that.
Yeah,
no credit.
See, that's a lose for me.
Right. If I beat you, it never ends. I mean, the trash talk.
The trolling will go on forever.
And this won't surprise you, but really the best part of my game is that I can run my mouth the entire time. I can miss the first 30 shots, and when I make the 31st one, you will never hear the end of it. That's really my greatest gift in athletics. I know that's shocking to you. So I guess ultimately through all of it, I don't know if the Pelicans got better. But I'm not sure anybody changed my mind.
They did get better. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
They absolutely got better. Right now, tomorrow, they're a better team.
You're right. Let me rephrase that. I don't know if they got so much better that it's worth what they gave up to get where they are. But ultimately, I guess you at least have to respect. You guys have changed my mind. You have to at least respect that the Pelicans are being this aggressive in making a move to sort of to make themselves the main headline and to get better today.
It is an ultimate gamble, and it's going to be a gamble that we're going to see play out until free agency and past free agency if they can hang on to Cousins, create cohesiveness with Davis, and add one more.
It's Jordan Fitz on ESPN Radio. Coming up next, SportsCenter All Night with Jay Reynolds.
Russillo and Cannell.
DeMarcus Cousins. DeMarcus, I've watched you a lot, and I'll notice that when things are going rough for you, you seem to kind of check yourself out.
I mean, everybody's got a right to their own opinion, so, next question.
So you don't think you get flustered during games, and it hurts your team?
I think I get frustrated like any other player in this league, but like I said, you have a right to your opinion. Next question.
All right, fair enough.
Russillo and Cannell on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Most Tuesdays are just Tuesdays, except at Buffalo Wild Wings, where Tuesdays are Wing Tuesdays. But now even Wing Tuesdays aren't just Wing Tuesdays, because Wing Tuesdays are half-price Wing Tuesdays, which means your boring Tuesday that became Wing Tuesday now costs you half as much. In case you're confused, we have half-price Wing Tuesdays. We do it for you. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Prices and participation vary. See participating locations for details. Void where prohibited.
Mike and Mike.
If Johnny Manziel genuinely wants to be an NFL quarterback again, you don't just want to be a celebrity, that you don't just want to be a star. The New Orleans Saints, I'm just making up a team here, are not going to call and say, you know what, let's bring him in and give him a shot at this thing. But if he goes to Canada, I think he has a real chance.
I don't think Johnny believes that. I think he believes if he shows he is now flying right, someone will take the chance and sign him.
Mike and Mike on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. This week in sports history, February 20th, 1996. The Utah Jazz's John Stockton became the NBA's all-time leader in steals with 2,311. Celebrating 25 years of ESPN Radio.
And now, insurance-minded speeches from Geico.
It's a common expression, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. However, what if the horse's mouth is filled with useful insurance tools? This is the exact case with the Geico app. Yes, the app is free and therefore a gift horse. However, look inside the app and behold, emergency roadside assistance, digital ID cards, bill pay. Get the Geico app. Look it in the mouth. Get amazing services. Thank you.
This is the sound of everyday engine threats like gunk, wear, and corrosion, unleashing their wrath on your engine. Now, this is the sound of Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline, providing the best total engine protection you can get. Period. Think all premium fuels are the same? Think again. Choose Shell V-Power Nitro Plus today.
Monday on Mike and Mike. KD and Russ teammates once again. LeBron denies rivalry with Steph and all the latest from NBA All-Star Weekend 2017. Full recap with Stephen A. and Bomani Jones. Plus the Pistons, Pelicans, and Kings rumored to be making trades as the Thursday deadline approaches. Don't miss it when Mark Stein joins us with all the latest moves. Plus Damian Woody, Peter Rosenberg, and Booker McFarland join. It's Mike and Mike Monday, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
ESPN Radio honors Black History Month. What's it like to be a black athletic director in charge of a major conference program? ESPN's TheUndefeated.com conducted a roundtable discussion with African American athletic directors at some of the most elite athletic programs in the country.
There's an extra level of scrutiny as a black man in who I hire. You want to be very confident you've collected enough evidence to support that decision, because I will be questioned.
To hear the discussion and for more on Black History Month, go to TheUndefeated.com. The Undefeated. Not conventional, never boring.
Worldwide leader in sports. This is ESPN Radio SportsCenter All Night. From expert analysis, informative interviews, electrifying highlights, and breaking news, this is SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio and ESPNRadio.com.
A new Pelicans staying in New Orleans. A record perhaps about to break in women's college basketball. From the expansive Studio Number 1, I'm Jay Reynolds. Glad to have you here. SportsCenter All Night, ESPN Radio, ESPN app, Sirius XM, Channel 80. We did have a record-setting night at the All-Star Game in New Orleans. We'll have more on that in moments, but we will start with a guy who played in New Orleans for the All-Star Game, and he will stay there.
How about Boogie Cousins for three? And he just showed DeAndre Jordan how to do it. A triple from the left wing for DeMarcus Cousins.
He can shoot it. He's at 36% on the year.
He was at 33% for the All-Star Game. 1 for 3. All were three-pointers. He made that one in his 2 minutes and 21 seconds of action during the All-Star Game. All the other All-Stars played at least 12 and a half minutes. But then came the real news. DeMarcus Cousins was being dealt ahead of Thursday's trade deadline. He goes from Sacramento to the Pelicans. ESPN insider Mark Stein.
It was just about 2 weeks ago that Vlade Divac told me emphatically we are not trading DeMarcus Cousins. We want him to be for the long term. Of course, Cousins, had he stayed in Sacramento, would have been eligible for an extension in excess of $200 million this summer. But the New Orleans Pelicans this week basically just ignored those proclamations from the Kings, and they put together this offer, initially thought to be Buddy Hield and 2 future first-round picks. It's actually Buddy Hield, a future first, Tyreek Evans, who, of course, was drafted in Sacramento. Very interesting gamble by the Pelicans because Jaron Akana, Cousins' agent, also told me tonight DeMarcus Cousins is unlikely to sign an extension with anyone who trades for him before Thursday's deadline. So the Pelicans are just going ahead with the gamble by all accounts and would submit this trade for league approval tomorrow when the league reopens for business.
Mark Spears, what's your take on this now? I mean, the Pelicans come into play into the All-Star break just 2.5 back of the Nuggets for the last playoff spot in the Western Conference. Does this make them a playoff team right now?
Hey, I'm happy for Cousins. It was time for him to get out of there. I know he's loyal and this, that, and the other, but it was just a bad situation. How many coaches has he had? How many general managers, teammates, owners? He just needed to go. He wants to get to the playoffs. He'll get it here. And to me, the Pelicans are making a great, great move. It's not going to be risky. Hey, Jaron, I've known him for a long time, but I take the risk. Why? One, he's going to be playing with one of the best players in the world, Anthony Davis. Two, he's from Mobile, Alabama, which isn't too far from here. And also, I believe the Pelicans are in their TV market, so people back home can watch him all the time. I think they'll be able to re-sign him despite what's being said. I love this move for New Orleans.
Cousins played just 2 minutes in the All-Star game. That is the fewest by any All-Star dating back to 1971. What about the fit for you, Mark Stein, the fit in New Orleans?
Well, look, New Orleans has been after a center. They've considered Greg Monroe in the past. They looked at Jahlil Okafor. They've talked about maybe going after Brook Lopez. So they want a traditional center to put next to Anthony Davis, so Davis doesn't have to play center. And obviously for the Pelicans, this is a coup to be able to pull this off, because DeMarcus Cousins, you put him in that same group with Jimmy Butler, Paul George, Carmelo Anthony, guys that we've been talking a lot, but that we didn't expect would actually move before the trade deadline. So for New Orleans to get Sacramento to change its position so quickly, for sure locally, this is going to be seen as a huge coup for the Pelicans.
Pelicans can try to re-sign Boogie Cousins, but Cousins does not become a free agent until after the 2017-2018 season. We went into this All-Star game with the points record at 42. That was Wilt Chamberlain in 1962. And with the lack of defense that we do see in NBA All-Star games, that number would actually be in jeopardy.
He turns up court into the forecourt. Great feed to Thomas, but a little bit behind him. Tipped away, Hayward has it. Over to Westbrook. He'll launch a three, and he'll make another one. 41 for Russell Westbrook. He's now one off the all-time All-Star game record.
Russell Westbrook getting hot earlier on Sunday evening. 2 of his 41 points coming on a give and go. Alley-oop lob pass from Kevin Durant, perhaps the highlight from the All-Star game, although the two of them would be on the court together for less than a minute and a half of game time. But while Westbrook did have a hot hand, there was one hand that was slightly warmer.
Draymond lob for Anthony Davis, who flushes. And now a steal by Davis. Davis the other way, jams it again. 32 for Anthony Davis.
Definitely making his case for All-Star MVP.
Gordon Hayward's got it. Hayward driving, lob for Davis. He jams it home, and he's got the record. 44 for Anthony Davis. A 55-year-old record falls. The highest scoring game in All-Star history as Kyle Lowry answers with a three on the other end.
Yeah, we got it. We thought we'd do it. Russell Westbrook still has a chance to catch him. He's only 3 back.
Westbrook did have a chance, but it was clear that the goal of the Western Conference squad was to feed the Pelicans Anthony Davis, with the game being in New Orleans.
Ahead to Harden. Harden off the glass. Reverse jam Davis, who's up to 52 here in his home building. He might go for 60 tonight, JB.
Okay, I can fill out my ballot now.
Our John Barry wasn't the only one convinced about who the All-Star Game MVP would be. And yes, that's who takes the hardware. For what it's worth, there was a total of 374 points scored in this one. The East scoring 182 points. Yet it wasn't good enough. The West takes it 192-182. The guys who called it here on ESPN Radio, Mark Kestisher and John Barry.
Well, JB, Anthony Davis in his home building, the 4th guy in his home building in the last 20 years to get MVP, and 52 points lit it up here.
Well, you could tell from the outset that they were going to go at him. He was the first guy. Steph Curry set a screen for him, and he was the ball handler on the first play of the game, and he knocked down a long shot. 39 field goal attempts for him. It was an unbelievable performance offensively for sure. I haven't seen it. But I'd like to see a little bit of defense in these games. I mean, come on. We start out, and it's just a free-for-all. 192 points scored. Amazing. Don't take anything away from the great athleticism that he showed. He deserved to be it. The hometown guy gets it. It was a lot of fun.
We didn't get KD and Russell Westbrook in the second half. We did get about 85 seconds of it in the first half and the alley-oop as the two came together. What everyone was looking for coming into the game.
Yeah, no, I think that did break the ice. Steve Kerr said that to Arshele Smith, and basketball tends to do that. You forget about everything off the court, and you just play. And it was good to see those two at least smile a little bit at one another, and everybody had a lot of fun with it on that Western bench.
And we did talk about the youth of the guys coming up. Giannis Antetokounmpo in the loss, 30 points on 14 of 17, the young 22-year-old Milwaukee Bucks.
Well, they call him the Greek Freak, and that is exactly what it is, a freak. He's tall. He does everything. He's like a Swiss Army knife. He can block shots, steals. He was terrific for that East team, and he is going to be a lot of fun to watch as he continues to build and gets better with his game.
Will Chamberlain's 55-year-old record falls tonight. Most points in an All-Star game. Anthony Davis in his home building goes for 52, and the West has won 3 in a row in the series. They win the All-Star game 192-182. For John Barry, I'm Mark Kestisher, right here on your home for the NBA, ESPN Radio.
So 374 combined points. That's the most in All-Star game history. The previous mark was 369, which was set a year ago. 52 points for Anthony Davis. That's an All-Star game record. As you heard, he's the 15th player from the host team to be named All-Star game MVP.
Not only did you shatter Wilt's record, you scored 20 in the fourth quarter, and you did it in front of your hometown. What does that mean to you?
Oh, it meant a lot. You know, these guys support us night in and night out, and that's what I wanted to do it for, this home crowd. You know, I love the city of New Orleans. I love being here, and there was no other way to go out but get an MVP.
And your mom's standing here right now, too. What does that mean, having her here?
Oh, man, it means a lot to have my parents here. You know, they do a great job of supporting me. Whether we win or lose, whether I play good or bad, they always telling me to keep my head up, and I'm glad they were down here to witness this.
Where's the trophy going?
Staying with me. They usually take me the trophies home, but I think I'm going to keep this one at my house.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, Anthony. Congratulations.
It's Anthony Davis chatting with our Shelley Smith after the All-Star game, but it was before the news broke about DeMarcus Cousins. So Davis gets the MVP hardware and a new teammate on Sunday evening. And then our Jeff Goodman did have a chance to chat with Davis once the news broke.
You know, first of all, he had a huge smile on his face when he was talking to me about the trade. He said he has not heard officially from anyone in the front office, has not talked to Boogie, said he just had grabbed his phone because of all the media obligations. His whole family was waiting for him outside the locker room. But I asked him what this day was like and what this weekend was like, and he said, All-Star MVP, we got Boogie Cousins. It doesn't get any better than this.
Couple Kentucky fellas. Does this mean Calipari next year, Jeff?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, certainly we'll hear speculation at some point, as we always do with Calipari. But I think now it gives some hope for this organization that really hasn't had a lot. I was talking to Anthony Davis's dad while I was waiting for Anthony, and we were talking about this franchise and kind of where it's been. And now it does give a little bit of a jolt to this team that was just all about one player, 23-year-old Anthony Davis. Now he's got some help up front, and they need to get some guards and guys who can make some shots from the perimeter.
Right, that's the big question now. Can they make a run for the playoffs? They're right around where Sacramento is. They've got Drew Holiday and Terrence Jones. You think they got enough to get in the top 8?
Listen, it's not that hard to catch number 8 right now. I mean, Sacramento, it's not like their record's great. And right now, Sacramento is going to take a big step back. I talked to a couple NBA guys I've been texting with over the last half hour or so, and they're almost laughing at what Sacramento has done here, giving up Boogie Cousins. And they say, with all due respect, Buddy Hield could be a good player. Tyreke Evans has been in the league a long time, has been banged up. This looks like an absolute steal right now for the Pelicans.
And he becomes a teammate of Anthony Davis, who in the All-Star game becomes the second player with 40 points and 10 rebounds in an All-Star game. Wilt Chamberlain being the other. He had 42 points and 24 rebounds in 1962 when he set the scoring mark at 42, scoring mark which was obliterated by Anthony Davis's 52 earlier on Sunday. Of course, Russell Westbrook had 41, which was one off Chamberlain's former record. Russell Westbrook, 41 points, and was the focus of much of the night as we headed into the All-Star game. We'll have more on his relationship on the court with Kevin Durant next. As SportsCenter All Night continues, it's ESPN Radio.
With all the drama surrounding All-Star Weekend 2017, somehow Kyrie Irving may be the biggest story of it all. Stephen A. Smith has reaction to Kyrie's claims at 9 Eastern Monday on Mike and Mike on ESPN Radio and ESPN.
Always introduce yourself to new roads with a firm grip. Take on any season with Firestone FR710 all-season tires. Now 10% off at Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whatever you drive a Firestone.
Offer valid February 1st through the 28th. Sale price reflected at point of sale. Select sizes and tire lines. In-store installation required. Not to be combined with any other offer on same product. No cash value. Offer void where prohibited. See store or driveafirestone.com for full details.
Monday morning with Greeny and Golick. Peter Rosenberg fresh from the NBA Celebrity Game. Plus Booger McFarland and Jay Williams. It's Mike and Mike. Starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
I found a better way to buy travel. It's called Upside.com. I use it to save a ton of money and get an Amazon gift card worth $100, $200, even $300 free. Upside bundles my flights and hotel together for one low price, which saves so much money they gave me a free Amazon gift card. I'm a frequent business traveler, so that's thousands in free gift cards for me and lots of savings for my company. Save big on travel and get a big gift card every trip. Upside.com. That's Upside.com.
Celebrating 25 years of ESPN Radio. The Cubs and Marlins. Game 6 of the 2003 NLCS. The Bartman game.
Foul territory is Alou. He jumps and a fan took it away from him. And Alou is livid. Moises Alou jumped and reached his glove into the seats, but a fan reached up and took it right out of his glove.
Don't miss more amazing moments from the last 25 years of ESPN Radio.
Napa know-how. A Napa guy knows that by the foot, there's no better ride than an old station wagon. Room for 6 people facing forward, 2 people facing backward, and a whole lot of luggage, lumber, and bicycles haphazardly strapped to the roof. If you can parallel park that beast, you can park anything. And with some quality parts and a little Napa know-how, you can keep your land ship running longer, stronger. It's not obsolete. It's a rare treasure. That's Napa know-how. Napa know-how.
Monday on Mike and Mike, KD and Russ, Sir Charles and King James, and somehow the biggest story from All-Star Weekend could be Kyrie Irving?
Kyrie, the earth is flat, right?
Yeah. Full reaction from NBA All-Star Weekend 2017 with Jay Williams and Peter Rosenberg. Plus, the NBA trade deadline is Thursday. Who's on the move? And looking at this year's 14 Basketball Hall of Fame nominees, the guys have all the latest Monday on Mike and Mike, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Progressive presents Mindfulness with Flow.
You feel yourself getting lighter with each Progressive discount. Paperless, safe driver, multi-car. Yes, lighter, like a new line of sneakers. Or a slugger on a crash diet the week before spring training. Stay away from the cheesecake.
Ascend to a higher plane of insurance with Progressive. Visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
NBA on ESPN Radio.
James drive, puts it up with an emphatic right hand. Out to Curry and another 3's up and in.
Now available on the ESPN app.
When you come to Applebee's for an all-in burger with fries and a bottomless Pepsi for just $9.99, you also get a shot at great instant win prizes. Sink your teeth into that. No purchase necessary. Open to legal 50 U.S. 18+. See rules at allintowinsweeps.com.
This just in, Wendy's is adding the quarter-pound double stack as an option in the 4 for $4 for a limited time. With so much beef, that's a deal so good it should not exist. In related news, howler monkeys should not be able to be heard from 3 miles away. Here to comment, a howler monkey.
Wow! That sounds like a really good deal!
Indeed. That's over a quarter pound of fresh beef with 4 nuggets, fries, and a Coke, all for just $4. Anything else, howler monkey?
I'm not allowed in libraries!
At participating Wendy's for a limited time. Meal includes 4-piece nuggets, small fries, and drink. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada. Not valid in Alaska and Hawaii.
SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
You know what's always in season? Surprising a friend or loved one with a bouquet from 1-800-Flowers.com. 1-800-Flowers has amazing offers on bouquets starting at just $29.99. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN. SportsCenter all night, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. I'm Jay Reynolds. So the West wins the All-Star game by 10 points. Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, teammates once again for a few hours. Durant had 21 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. 4th triple-double in All-Star game history. Joining Dwayne Wade in 2012, LeBron James in 2011, and Michael Jordan back in 1997. Russell Westbrook, 41 points, tied for the 3rd most points in All-Star game history. Now one of Durant's 10 assists was a lob alley-oop pass to Westbrook for a dunk. And for that split second, for that moment, all the tension seemed to blow over. ESPN's Ramona Shelburne.
Well, it was interesting. I was speaking to Steve Kerr before the game a little bit, and I said, Steve, are you going to do something here? This has been awkward for everybody involved. Some of they were in the locker room, and people kind of didn't know how to deal with it or handle anything, even the rest of the team. And Steve said, yeah, I'm going to do something to diffuse it. I'm working on my material right now. And when I caught him before the game, he said he made up a video to show the team before the game, and I just found out the video was the highlights of all of them on their own draft days. It wasn't right on the subject, but it kind of cut the tension and cut what was really an awkward situation for all involved. And then he decided, let's get this over with fast. So the first substitution was Russell Westbrook coming into the game. He's on the court with James Harden and Kevin Durant. A couple times down the court, you could see that Russ was looking for Anthony Davis, but when Russ dribbled down the court, he saw Kevin Durant. He was looking for him, and then they had that alley-oop play. It was Russ to KD, KD to Russ, and then they had the oop. And afterwards, they went over. I was sitting about 10 feet from this, and everyone on that West bench just erupted in laughter, cheers. Like, you could tell how tense things had been and how much that broke the tension, mostly for the other people involved. I mean, I know Russ and Katie have both said it was just a lob, he threw me a pass, I dunked it, but I think this was more important actually for everyone else who was associated with this All-Star game, because this whole thing really overshadowed the game and everyone else in it until that lob in the first quarter.
But we needed a storyline because there wasn't going to be any defense played, and I believe there was less defense played in this one than any other All-Star game.
The question is, first quarter, you and Kevin Durant, you pass the ball to each other, kind of, have some fun. It's all over now.
Yeah, he threw a lob. That's all that happened. He just threw a lob. It's basketball.
Yeah.
That's it.
No high fives, nothing.
Did you see it?
I mean, I was very happy in the draft.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. You have a great time. I'll see you guys in the second half of the season.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Russ. Kyrie will be right up.
And just like that, Russell Westbrook was done with his press conference. Didn't answer the question, but Westbrook did have 41 points, and perhaps what may have been the feel-good highlight of the night, that feed from Kevin Durant early in the game. They played less than 90 seconds on the court together. SportsCenter All Night, ESPN Radio, and the ESPN app. In the Zone, brought to you by AutoZone. Get proven tough Duralast brakes, the official brakes of NASCAR, sold only at AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Westbrook won the All-Star Game MVP in back-to-back years, a stretch that was broken on Sunday when Anthony Davis and his 52 points earned him the MVP honors. But speaking of